We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Welcome in on what has become basically a gorgeous, gorgeous day at TPC Southwind. We're here for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Golf Tournament every year. They hold this thing. It's to raise money for St. Jude every year. It is incredibly, incredibly popular. So nice to have you with us. Brett is off. He'll be off until Friday. Drew out at beautiful Southwind with me, celebrating the last few days that he will be with us. I think the sunshine came out, Drew, just because everybody knows you're leaving.
Well, I hope so. I hope that the weather and the Almighty decided that it should be a bright, sunny day out here at TPC Southwind for one of my last 3 days. But glad to be here. Glad to be here with you, and just the greatness that this tournament does for this entire Memphis community. It really does show, especially for all the money that it helps raise for St. Jude, which we know is embedded into the culture here in Memphis, Tennessee, and what they do out there is just incredible, and anything that we personally can do to help, I'll be glad to do it.
Well, it is always fun. It's about $250,000 fundraiser most years. I've got a feeling it'll be that way this year. It all started last night with Peyton Manning being in town at the Hilton. He was the recipient of the Citizenship Award. It was really a fun night. Jason D. Williams, who I did not know, is a friend of Peyton Manning's. He played. He was just killing it. Just absolutely killing it. Peyton Manning's daughter got up and played some piano with Jason D. Williams. That was a lot of fun. It was a wonderful night. And then there was a Q&A between Harold Grader and Peyton was his usual funny and open self. So that was really terrific. And then today, and you'll be hearing from him in a little bit, Penny Hardaway is going to join us in about 10 minutes or so. Penny Hardaway's out here. Ryan Silverfield is out here. We'll hear from him. Daryl Smith, who is the executive tournament director of the WCC Memphis, out here at Southwind. He will join us at some point. Steve Earhart will be with us. We'll talk a little USFL with him. So we are really, really busy. Before I go any further, Memphis lost a great one over the weekend. Charlie McVane from McVane Trading, he and Willard Sparks helped out a lot of people in their years. They were very generous, and a lot of people say they made a lot of people rich around Memphis. Charlie McVane, who we also know and has been on this show with myself and in the past with George, he was the guy that came up with the Hackney Pony robot jockey idea that they were going to try to run all across the country. They did a prototype in the Mid-South Coliseum. Charlie was a guy who was always trying to invent new things and be entrepreneurial. That one didn't work, but many, many things he did do worked. He was also, I think, instrumental in the Green Line. He got into bicycles and new contraptions with bicycles later in his life. Charlie McVane passed away at the age of 78 years old, way too early for this day and age. He was a great one, and he will be missed. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to the Charlie McVane family.
Yeah, very much so. Never heard a bad word about the man, and just like you said, just the great things that seems like an innovative type of person, and that Green Line. I mean, man, that is one of the coolest things. If you've never been able to do it, any section of it is amazing. I personally like to do it down in Midtown back when I used to live there, so definitely thankful for that.
In the meantime, because we want to get to Penny right away, we've got to get to top and not top stories.
We've all had that dream, tie game, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded. Well, at FanDuel Sportsbook, you get more than one shot to swing for the fences because FanDuel is letting you place your first bet risk-free. That's right, new users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. And it only gets better from there. Check out FanDuel's new promo live every Tuesday. $5 Dinger Tuesdays. Place a $25 or higher wager on any player to hit a home run on Tuesday and get a $5 bonus in site credit for every home run hit in that game. Max $25. There's a reason FanDuel Sportsbook is America's #1 sportsbook. The app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique, fun bet types like same-game parlay, and always-on promotions that let you get more action out of every game. And when you win, FanDuel will pay you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code CASH to get in on the action. That's FanDuel Sportsbook. Promo code CASH, must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only for risk-free bet. Refund and bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max bonus $25 per game. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity June sales event. Great offers on all 2021 models and always special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-362-8833. And when you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
I think it's that we're all here at Southwind. I think that is the story of the day. That Peyton Manning was here last night. All of this, you may recall, ladies and gentlemen, was supposed to be happening last year. It did not happen last year. We all know why, because of COVID. And so the fact that we are all here today, that we'll be talking with Penny Hardaway and Ryan Silverfield as this show goes on, that, to me, is the story of the day. Other things that we learned today about normalcy, how about the Germantown Charity Horse Show? 72nd rendition is coming back. All that we missed last year, say goodbye to that empty feeling. Hello, we're back.
We are back, and it's great to finally be back to some type of normalcy. My top story of the day, Julio Jones, he is going to be a Tennessee Titan as long as he passes his physical, which I 100% believe he will. In exchange for Jones, the Titans will send a 2022 second-round pick and a 2023 fourth-round pick to Atlanta. Along with Jones, the Falcons will send a 2023 sixth-round pick to the Titans. So looks to me that the Titans really won this trade, especially since Julio Jones really put the pressure on Atlanta and made sure he was going to get out.
He wanted out. They wanted a first-round draft choice. They ended up really getting a second-round draft choice. Had to give away a sixth. Got another one later. What is it, seventh round?
We got a fourth round.
And Atlanta did get the raw end of the deal on this one, but Julio didn't want to play there. He is 32 years old. But, man, sure makes you think that the Titans, with two deep threats now and that running back, wow, they could be really, really good this coming year.
Not top story of the day.
Well, there's several to go along. But I'm going to go with one that was just tragic. It happened as the weekend was beginning. Galen Young, you remember that name? Galen Young was a high school basketball star at Hillcrest High School. He went on to star collegiately at North Carolina Charlotte, UNCC. He hurt Memphis in some games. He weighed all-conference CUSA in at least one of the years that he was at UNC Charlotte. And he was a guy who was 45 years old, was trying to figure out how to become a coach. He'd just gotten the light turned on for him, you could say. He got a job as a high school basketball coach starting this fall in Jackson, Mississippi. He goes home to visit his mother in South Memphis. Out of nowhere, he's in her computer room in that house in South Memphis, and a car loses control, goes through the side of the house into that room where he's on a computer, and kills him at the age of 45 years. Wow. As tragic and sad a story, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Galen Young family. You know they are hurting.
They definitely are. Thoughts and prayers to them. My not top story of the day: Memphian Cameron Kinley will not have a chance to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this season after he signed a undrafted free agent contract with the championship Buccaneers, as his request to delay his U.S. Naval commission to play in the NFL has been denied, and he's also been given word that he does not have the chance to appeal it. So for as long as I can remember, at least the last 10, 15 years, it seems like anybody from one of the service academies that had a legitimate shot to play professional football, especially at the NFL level, were given that approval and were able to go for that NFL dream. And for some reason, a man who is not only the captain of the football team at the Naval Academy, but also the class president, spoke at graduation, presented the vice president, Kamala Harris, a gift after her speech at graduation. His was denied. It's truly a mystery of why.
It's baffling. It is baffling because you'll remember Malcolm Perry, that great quarterback. He was able to delay his commission and has been playing in the NFL. He was just there 2 years ago in West Point and in the Air Force Academy. This year they have allowed 3 players, 1 from Army, 2 from Air Force, to delay their commissions to go play. What an anchor you are putting on Ken Niumatalolo. Used to be he could say, you come, we're going to waive that commission until you're done with your NFL career. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's a change in political policy in Washington or what it is, but they will not let the kid from Lausanne, Cameron Kinley, leave the commission to go play in the NFL. It is a stunning reversal of what their policy has been. Those are your top and your not top stories of the day. We are very fortunate to get one of the great golfers of all time in the city of – oh, no, wait, he's a basketball coach. But he plays like he's a star golfer. That would be Penny Hardaway, who is taking out some of his time of his camp to join us here for just a couple of minutes. Penny, so good to talk with you again. Soon you will be able to recruit in person. We are getting back to normalcy. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, Dave. How are you doing?
Great, great. How'd you play today?
I didn't play well today, but it's okay. We had fun. I hit some good shots, though. Didn't play like to my normal self.
It really was fun, and I must say you have been very kind to the tournament here. I think you've come every year, even when you weren't a coach, to support St. Jude and what Steve Earhart and the AutoZone Liberty Bowl folks do.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously we know what the Children's Hospital, means, St. Jude means to our city, and also AutoZone. And the Liberty Bowl itself, the history with the Liberty Bowl with Steve Earhart, it's always been phenomenal. So, I just try to do my part and show up, and golf comes along with it. That's the easy part, the golf. But always going to support my guys, for sure.
No question. All right, so you are having camp now, and I promised you I wanted to give you the opportunity to plug that camp. If there are availabilities, I know those things fill up quickly. So how long are the camps, and do you have any spots for other people, and how would they join?
The camps are, honestly, for the summer, for this week's session, it's sold out. And then I have the elite camp this weekend that's also sold out. So the only other camp we have is the 21st through the 24th that kids could sign up for, which is a great thing because we didn't have it last year, so kids were raring to go when we opened back up this year, Dave, which is a blessing.
That is great. Fantastic.
That is great to hear, Coach. But as far as recruitment-wise go, you've been over Zoom for over a year now. How excited are you to get these guys on campus and show them the greatness that is the Lori Walton practice facility? Yeah, well, we show the actual, footage of the Lori Walton while we're doing the Zoom, but there's nothing like it when you finally walk into the building. So you can see the guys' eyes lighting up coming into that building because they saw it,
on the Zoom, but kind of underestimated it. And when you get there in person, man, it's just a beautiful building. And to see the guys on campus and enjoying the building every day since they've been here, it's a great thing.
Have you got everybody here yet? When do guys come? When are you allowed to have workouts?
Everyone is here except for DeAndre Williams. He is seeing a spine specialist in Oklahoma, and he'll be here for the second session of summer school. Everyone else is here. And we were supposed to start today, but I canceled it today because I had the golf tournament, and then I wanted to see my day camp. We'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. will be our first overall team workout of the summer.
I'm sorry, what was wrong with DeAndre Williams? You said he was seeing some sort of specialist?
Yeah, his spine. His back has been hurting for like 2 years.
Oh,
and
yeah.
DeAndre's always had like a back problem. He's played through the pain. He's just getting treatment. No surgery or anything like that, but he'll be in the second summer session.
You've had a little bit of switch of personnel. Some go in the transfer portal, some back from the transfer portal into your program. Are you happy with the way all of this turned out? And I know you have 2 slots. Are you done with the transfer portal?
You can never say never with having two scholarships left, Dave. I think I'm done with the transfer portal. We might have something happen as far as a reclass, maybe. But other than that, yeah.
The reclass, that would be a pretty nice, pleasant surprise, would it not?
Absolutely. You know, especially the kid that we're talking to is can be a huge impact player, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Coach, if you can at all, what can you tell us about rounding out your staff for the upcoming season?
Yeah, we have a spot open because of Coach Matlock going to South Carolina State, and I'm meeting with the president and the AD tomorrow to finalize some things. So hopefully within the next week, I'll have my my staff complete.
You also have a strength coach that you have to hire, and I believe a video coordinator. Are you close on those two?
Yeah, I'm closer to the video guy than I am the strength conditioning coach. So still working on that, but it should be definitely before the end of this month, me having everybody.
It seems as if it has been the Penny Hardaway way, that you usually secure your staff around the middle or the end of June.
Well, I mean, I try to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence because going into my 4th year, I really, I kind of understand what I need and what I want, and I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that. As we get closer and closer, and all these guys come on board. Timberlake, tell me a little bit about him. I know he has wowed people at that All-Star game that was here.
Yeah, Earl is just who we are as far as the city of Memphis. He's a grit and grind kid. He's very skilled, more skilled than you think. Great passer of the basketball. Wants to take the challenge as being the best defender on the team and taking the job of the best offensive player of the other team. Great rebounder. He will block shots. He's just a great all-around player. I call him a junkyard dog with skill, though, because he's just tough. He's from Southeast, so I think Northeast D.C. He's from the inner city, and he grew up playing around all the great players down there, so really excited to have him. Josh, who played here in the Allen Iverson Classic, is just an athletic, just freak of nature. He's gifted, he's long, and he's athletic, so he's another really good surprise.
It would seem to me that this team will be, if they all come and everything happens, even without the reclass, this would be the deepest team you've ever had.
Yeah, because the core of guys have stayed. Obviously, we lost players. They moved on, but the kids that stayed, that's pretty much the core of the team. So we have veterans mixed with young guys, and it would be the deepest team that we've had by a long shot.
And then there's the story of Tyler Harris. You talked about guys who have left. You brought those couple of guys that have come back in. I think Tyler Harris was a big surprise for a lot of us. Maybe not you, but for a lot of us. How did that play out, Coach?
Well, Tyler and I really never had a bad relationship. I think he looked at the situation that there were a ton of guards before Boogie and Damian and those guys left, and DJ, and he felt like, man, this is going to be hard for me to play the way that I want to play. And he went to Iowa State, obviously, because it was kind of a running gun system. That coach had put numerous guards in the league because of scoring, and he thought that was going to be a great situation for him. And it just didn't work out for him. And when we kind of went into the portal, we started talking about the possibilities of him coming back home and wanting to be home and wanting to graduate from Memphis. And, you know, I never wanted Tyler to leave, so to have him back is something that I definitely wanted, because he truly is a weapon. He's a weapon, and he can shoot it in. His mindset is he's a veteran now. He's not a young freshman coming in anymore. He's coming in as a junior that gets his year back that's supposed to be going into his senior season.
And he must have really wanted to come home, because he did this as a walk-on, if that's the true case.
Yeah, the one thing I told Tyler was that I didn't really have a scholarship, and that, you know, and then his father's ill, and he's coming back for those reasons. He wanted to be back in a uniform so bad, he was like, Coach, I'll walk on. And I was like, man, that says a lot about you wanting to get back and wanting to be a part of this.
Yeah, Coach, out of your new guys, I mean, Tiger Nation loves everybody on the team, but it always seems there's that one fan favorite for the grittiness, the grindiness. If we've seen a guy like Lester Quinones kind of emerge as that quote-unquote fan favorite. Out of the new guys you're bringing in, who do you think will fit that profile and kind of emerge as that guy that Tiger fans really latch onto?
I think they're going to love all the freshmen, but I really do think Earl Timberlake, who's going to be playing with a huge chip on his shoulders. Earl was promising and was in the pre-draft, like when the mock draft, Earl's name was on there to leave this year, but he got injured. So I think he has, with the chip that he's going to have on his shoulders, the toughness that he plays with, the grit and grind that he shows, I think that the fans are definitely going to fall in love with Earl Timberlake.
Real quick, schedule-wise, I know you've got St. Louis back on, a home and home that was supposed to start last year. You got Tennessee in Nashville. That's the way the contract reads, that you would play the third game on the neutral, hopefully this year. Is there anything else that we'll get excited about besides the preseason NIT in Brooklyn?
We're trying to do the Alabama game here in Memphis, and then another P5. So that would be the only shot to get Alabama here, and then another P5 game that we don't have yet.
That would be a loaded schedule for sure. All right, here's the last thing. I got a little worried today. I'm not going to lie to you, Coach. Mike Sadie from Channel 3 asked you about your connection with the Orlando job, because there's word out of Orlando. There might be interest in you being their head coach in the NBA. Tell me that's not true.
Dave, I have to tell a story. I really have to tell a story first before I answer that question. Mike said he was asking me the question about Orlando, and I started talking, and Dave Voloshin, who I love dearly, was to the left of me, and he was watching the interview, and he was smiling, and then the Orlando Magic question came up. And I looked over at Dave while I was answering this question. He got the worried look. The smile went to worried, and I was like, Dave, don't worry. But it was hilarious, though, to see you change. You were like, hold on, wait, what's going on here? I haven't heard that, but no, man, my heart is in Memphis. I really wanted to do this job because I want to win a championship. I feel like we're heading in the right direction. I love everything about Memphis. Obviously, it's flattering for Orlando to even think of me, of wanting me to be their head coach. I think the players have said the same thing there. But my heart is in Memphis right now, and hopefully later on in life that comes about again, maybe. And maybe it's the time then. But for me right now, I really want to win a championship for the city.
I know we are on the way. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you, Coach. I know you got kids waiting. And if anybody does want that one availability for your camps, what should they do again?
Well, I think that you actually can we have walk-up. You can register online for the basketball camp. If you go to our fan page, which is Memphis Men's Basketball on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, it'll tell you exactly what to do.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. We'll see you sometime soon.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Penny Hardaway, out here today. I believe his team was 8 under, by the way, Drew. My team was 8 under, too.
Congratulations.
I'm just going to say this. If you're in Hardaway's, and he was playing with Bill Rhodes, who played college golf, too. Bill is the head man at AutoZone. If we're in that kind of category, we got a chance at something today. We got a chance. Kevin Kane played with me today. Melvin Gibson played with me today. A guy named Andy Odell who can hit the ball a mile and a half. He was out there today as well. We take a quick pause. The Family Leisure Studio, you might say, is now at Southwind. TPC Southwind Family Leisure. Now, there's no pools here, no spas in stock here. Those are at I-40 and Whidden Road. No beautiful play gyms, no patio furniture here. Well, actually, we're looking at some patio furniture. I think they came from Family Leisure. If they were smart, Southwind bought them from Family Leisure. Right now, that's the place to go. You know, installation on those play gyms is available by the pros. There is on the patio furniture some of these new ones, some select sets, 20% off. Go see Billy, go see Lindsay, go see all the gang. You'll love the layout at Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road. We take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little golf, PGA, Rachel Hack, everything else with our man Ted Butler. He comes your way in just a minute.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Spensdorf Realtors. And yes, I'm an awful golfer, but I'm often called Sheldon because I sell homes and work with buyers and I get the job done. I recently took my car in for repairs and they wanted me to pay a fee for a diagnosis just to determine what was wrong. And then they could tell me what the cost was. And while I certainly appreciate a cost of doing business, I don't do it that way. When somebody calls me about selling their home, I do my research and meet with them to give them an idea about pricing and what they might do to prepare and present their home in the best possible light to make the most money. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling, call or email me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. You might even hear your home advertised here on the radio. That's Shell Dunn at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now or write it down for later or for a friend. Thank you.
Mid-South Hobbies has your favorite model airplanes, boats, race cars, and trains to build. With brands you know like Lionel, LGB, and a large selection of Traxxas radio-controlled trucks, cars, and boats. Mid-South Hobbies has all the accessories to make them complete, with thousands of paint colors to make them shine. Reach the sky with rockets and kites, or reach deep into your imagination with action figures, comic book superheroes, and fantasy quest games. Get passionate about your hobby at Mid-South Hobbies. 4862 Summer Avenue, open 7 days a week. Call 901-682-9402.
Progressive Motorcycle presents Road Wisdom from the Motor.
Half man, half motorcycle.
You grab life with both hands. And you grab your bike with both hands.
Both hands.
Therefore, bike is life.
Figuratively speaking.
Progressive Motorcycle also presents Roadside Assistance. Progressive Motorcycle, for those who were born to ride. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Frontier Western Store is open and ready to serve you for all your needs in boots, apparel, pet food, and more. Frontier is proud to be a local leader here in the Mid-South when it comes to boots. Stop by the store today for an incredible selection of name brand work and dress boots. Come browse aisles and aisles of top quality boots at everyday low prices in their world-famous boot showroom. Dan Post, Rocky, Durango, Twisted X, Georgia, Ariat, and many more. There's so many styles, colors, and fits available, you might need a hand picking out your favorites. Luckily, Frontier's knowledgeable sales staff will cheerfully assist you with any questions you have and ensure the proper fit of your new boots. Frontier also has an amazing selection of jeans and shirts by Wrangler, Ariat, and Carhartt, as well as a fully stocked women's boutique department with thousands of tops and dresses at unbelievable prices. New arrivals often. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stacks. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back to Southwind. Brett off, Drew in. We are basking in the sunshine. It was pouring rain for the last 4 holes that I played this morning. And everybody was thinking that was going to be the afternoon grouping, that it was going to be terrible this way. It's gorgeous. I mean, the sun is shining, and everybody's having a good time. They are playing out here, that is for sure. Ted Butler is our man on golf. We've got lots to cover, that is for sure. It starts with Jon Rahm, Ted Butler. And I feel bad in a way for Jon Rahm because he cost himself $1.67 million, but it's pretty clear to me he did not get vaccinated. If he had, he would not have been in that testing protocol, and he really cost himself because the way I do the math, he was 18 under after 3, the winning couple that went to the playoff were at 13 under. So he could have gone 5 over yesterday and been in the playoff. It's crazy. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dave. Drew. I think he's getting ready to rewrite the record books. Actually, the way he was playing, it was incredible. And I also find it incredible he hadn't been vaccinated. I thought there was like a protocol for PGA Tour players, that they. But I don't know. But the COVID is much better than I thought it was by the way he acted coming off the 18th green. When he doubled over and went into tears, I thought, oh man, it's the baby or his wife or his parents or somebody. I thought it was much, much worse than what happened. It's not good what happened, but in retrospect, it's better than what we thought.
I agree with you. And I've heard the tour get criticized for meeting him there and telling him right there
in front of everyone.
In front of everybody. And I mean, that's your first reaction was, wow, I'm really glad it was just COVID. Because it looks like somebody in his family had died. I mean, that's the first thing everybody thinks. But I think they could have probably done this better by just saying, hey, come with us. And we got something to tell you. And escorting him that way. But they wanted to make sure they grabbed him there before he went and high-fived fans or shook hands with everybody. The guy was tested for being asymptomatic but positive for COVID. You don't want him spreading that. So you had to make sure he will, I guess, was not going to be around very many people for very long.
Well, right. I think, thinking about it, because I thought the same thing. They should have taken him inside and told him in private instead of in front of the whole world. But like what you're saying now, it does make a little more sense to keep him away from anybody and not spread it anywhere else. The tour is pretty good on stuff like that. They take care of their guys.
Yeah, they've had protocol set in place. They've given everybody plenty of ample amount of time to get vaccinated, and they don't want the one positive test to really shut them down, especially for all the progress that they have made over the last year. But Ted, Jon Rahm, this was the best we've seen him play all year, with the stuff going on at home, just having the new baby. It's going to be a couple weeks at the minimum until we see him again. What does this do to a guy that seemed like he was just getting his game back and his confidence back?
Well, I don't know what he's been thinking for the last few weeks because he surely hasn't had his A game. And having a new child like that it's a unique experience. But clearly this week he was on form. I mean, he wasn't hitting any bad shots at all, and his putter was hot. I was thinking he's going to go ahead and shoot 24 under, and just shoot the lights out because there was no signs of stumbling or any kind of misfire in the way he was playing. And I'm sure he had a little chip on his shoulder. He'd been a little aggravated earlier this year with his poor play, but when he's on, he's awfully hard to beat.
Well, the beneficiary of it all is Patrick Cantlay, who beats Morikawa in the playoff. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but that makes Patrick Cantlay number 1 on the FedEx Cup's points list. So that is a significant W for Patrick to go along with $1.67 million.
Absolutely. He's been playing playing really well for the last couple of years. I know I've picked him several times to win tournaments, and he's been close almost every week. But those two are two of the brightest young stars out there. With it. The more I watch Colin Morikawa, the more I like that golf swing. You know, his tempo is just beautiful, and he takes the club back the same every single time. Those two guys are going to win some golf tournaments. It's fun. It's fun to watch them. Although they struggled on 18 in the playoff, you know, both times around, it's kind of fun to watch.
Somebody offered that Patrick Cantlay would make a lot of friends all over the place if he said to Jon Rahm, "I'm going to give you half the purse." What would you say to that?
That leaves me speechless. I don't think I don't know. Rahm certainly doesn't need. I guess that would have been an interesting thing to do. It never crossed my mind, but I don't know. That's a tough one.
It is, Ted. I mean, I guess it would have been a nice gesture, and honestly, it would kind of look bad on Rahm for accepting the offer more than looking good on Patrick Cantlay, because I don't think anybody really thinks that Jon Rahm is hurting in the wallet department. But
No.
with Patrick Cantlay, and a lot of people are saying that there should be an asterisk by the win. Do you buy into that there should really be an asterisk next to?
I don't think so, because Rahm could have shot 75 Sunday. You know, it wasn't a guarantee that he was going to shoot 5 under again. He could have shot 73 or 4.
But if he shoots 75, Ted, he still wins the tournament.
Well, maybe. We don't know if he was out there, if the two guys would have changed the way they played. It was almost like match play with the two of them. And if Rahm was in front and starting to fall back, and they might have tried to make more birdies, I don't know. That's a hard thing to say, because, you know, golf is so fickle. Everything changes in a heartbeat. You know, one swing can make a 3-shot difference anywhere. So I think it's just a clear win for Cantlay.
Have you ever played Muirfield? Because it just looks so beautiful on TV.
It is absolutely spectacular. You know, they started digging it up after they putted out on 18 last year, and to get it as good as it looked yesterday, I couldn't even believe it. I mean, it was between that and watching the Ladies Open at Olympic, the two courses were just spectacular. I mean, it was like real golf, you know?
Oh, yeah. You're right. I mean, both of them looked absolutely amazing on TV. I know there's such hilly terrain at Muirfield. And Olympic, well, that is just picturesque. What happened with Rachel Hack? I don't know if you've had any contact with any of her family. I think she finishes still top 35. I don't know if that gets you into an exemption for next year's U.S. Open.
I don't know either, but probably not. But that golf course was so hard. Finishing 35th, making the cut, and finishing 35th, and beating 120 of the other best players in the world. She played okay. What I did see of it, they didn't show a whole lot of her, that she didn't make many putts first two rounds.
Right.
Hit the ball extremely well, like she always does. But she just to be there and experience it, and with your dad on the bag, I don't know whether that, I guess emotionally it helps, but if you're really trying to win a national championship, you probably need a professional caddy. like Robert tells me, he says, you know, doctoring is a whole lot easier than caddying.
Yeah.
He said, I know what I'm doing, doctoring.
Yeah. How good will that Stanford team be next year? Because the girl, the 17-year-old that was in second place on Friday, she's going to be a freshman at Stanford next year.
There's no telling. I mean, I can't imagine anybody being close to them. The fact they didn't win the national championship this year was just that match play format, and the number 2 girl 3-putt in the last hole and then losing a playoff. Otherwise, they'd have won that too. But with Ghana coming in and the ones they've already got, assuming they're all going to stay, it seems that way. I mean, she said she'd be there for the whole time, and we know Rachel is. So it's going to be they're going to be something.
Yeah, Ted, looking a couple weeks into the future, obviously the U.S. Open here in 2 weeks. How do you see that one playing out with the way the guys on tour are playing? I mean, does DeChambeau have a legitimate shot of defending his title?
I don't know. He overpowered the U.S. Open last year. I'm not so sure you can do it at Torrey. And he hasn't been playing that great. He's hanging
What's
around,
missing?
but he's missing a lot of fairways pretty far off. You know, he's getting in some places on his good drives that nobody can believe, but also on his bad drives. And his wedge play never has been great yet. The 120-yard shots, he doesn't hit them inside 10 feet like everybody else does. So there's a little leakage here and there, and I think he's coming back a little bit from his working out. You know, he's always doing something different, and you may be in the process of, trying to tone it down a little bit and hit a few. I don't know for sure, but he wouldn't be my favorite next week. And Rahm will be back. He gets back 2 days before that too, so there's going to be a great field for that.
Well, yeah, we've been talking about
even
this.
Phil.
Even without Tiger, now that Phil, I guess, is the elder spokesman, but these fields are just so deep. There are so many great players. I think it's the healthiest we've ever seen it. We'll get your pick on the U.S. Open next week, and we'll talk about where the pros play this week as well. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Talk to you next week.
Appreciate it, Ted.
Ted Butler, our guy on golf. We got to take a quick time out. When we come back, it'll be time for Precious Metals on this Monday at Southwind for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Golf Classic.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
It's happening again at Family Leisure. Don't miss out again this summer because pools are going fast. Spas in stock now, too, and they're ready for delivery. New 2021 patio furniture, state-of-the-art in stock now, and up to 20% off select sets. Swing into spring with a brand new play gym, professional installation available. The temperature's rising, and so is the service at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road, where family and fun come together.
If ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh-made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on: Sunrise.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We welcome you back to sun-kissed TPC Southwind. We're here for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Golf Classic every year. They raise money for St. Jude. They're doing a heck of a job again this year. Before we run out of time, we better get right to it. It's time for Precious Metals. I'm going to start with a bronze for Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, I know they lost Game 7. I know they lost in Los Angeles to the Clippers first time. Clips and the home team won in that series. But this guy had 46 points in that loss and double-digit assists. I mean, if there's anybody who's going to will your way. And all these young guys, and we're going to talk about Trae Young, I'm giving him a medal, a bronze as well, because he had nearly a double-double and 35 points in their win to go up in the second-round series. And they've been the underdog in all these games. Trae Young has been terrific. Those two. And you think about Ja, wow. The NBA has got a new generation that is really making waves. It starts with those two. Kawhi Leonard and the LA Clips, well, they will get a silver from me. They finally got a home win, and they're into round 2 over the Dallas Mavericks. That was the weirdest series ever, and Kawhi was definitely the leader. He had all the big shots in Game 6 and in Game 7. To make sure they got to that next round. Patrick Cantlay gets a silver medal from me. He's getting a lot of gold. He now leads the FedEx points match. He beat Colin Morikawa in a playoff, and another part of that is it really broke the heart of Drew.
It did.
Drew had Morikawa. You actually got money out of Ricky Fowler this week.
T11. I was ready to head to Fort Smith with the golf picking championship banner in the back seat, riding along with me.
I'm going to give 901 FC a silver medal. They got a win in their 4th game. That's the earliest time, I think, in their history. Earliest W in a season. They're now 1-2. They have 5 points, and every one of those games has been on the road. A great start for Ben Pierman. I give them a silver medal, and I'm going to give a gold medal to Essential Quality. That's the horse that won the Belmont. We had 3 different winners. Medina Spirit in the Kentucky Derby, Rombauer in the Preakness. Now this horse in the longest one, the toughest, most grueling one, the Belmont. Essential Quality, who had a rough ride, got off to a bad start in the Derby. Maybe we would have had a Triple Crown winner if things had gone a little bit differently, but Essential Quality gets a gold medal from me.
Well, good for Essential Quality. I bet he is a gentleman of a horse and a pleasure to be around. But for horse racing, I mean, with the Baffert stuff, and you don't have anywhere close to a triple crown contender, it just doesn't bring up a lot of excitement for me around the horse racing. But I've got some medals to give out as well. Going to start with a bronze. Going to give a bronze to my Orioles. Dave, I don't know if you know this, but they have won back-to-back series.
Yeah.
For the first time this season.
Yeah.
They have won 4 out of the last 6 games. Yeah. So that is great.
Yeah.
Going to give a.
I do know that, but I'm looking here.
Yes,
they are 17
that doesn't matter.
games under 500. They are 16 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays.
You got to start
You're giving
somewhere.
them a bronze.
You got to start somewhere, Dave. And by winning series means you're winning ball games. It means you're cutting at that lead. So you got to start somewhere here on June 7th.
500, talk to me.
All right. I might have to wait till next season for that to happen.
Exactly.
But, also going to give a bronze, like you, to Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks, who I think is definitely starting to become this year's darling of a team. I don't know if most people that gave them that big of a chance against the Knicks, who had been playing the best basketball we've seen out of New York in 10 years, and then nobody really gave them a shot yesterday in Philly. But Trae Young and the Hawks, they are coming through. Going to give a silver to Patrick Cantlay, who unfortunately edged out in the playoff against my guy Colin Morikawa. Also going to give a silver to the Memphian Rachel Heck for her T35 at the U.S. Women's Open. Just an incredible outing for her, just to be making the cut in a major at such a young age. Definitely deserves a silver. And I'm going to give a gold not just to one team, but to multiple teams, and the College World Series action from the weekend, and now continuing on here in Monday as we get to the ultimate Game 7 of these regionals elimination games. The action has been just incredible, and obviously I hope this team doesn't win today, because it's going to make it it's not going to be very good for my new endeavor over there in Fort Smith. But Nebraska, I mean, what they were able to do yesterday, winning 2 games, defeating New Jersey Institute of Technology, I believe, like 18-4, and then having enough bats left in the evening and pitching to be able to pull the upset against Arkansas 5-3 yesterday. LSU has become a darling. I don't think a lot of people gave them a lot of chances out in Eugene against Oregon, as they'll play later tonight. State, they've won today. Ole Miss is in a rain delay, I believe. They just resumed play in the bottom of the second. But college baseball and the College World Series has been phenomenal to watch so far.
Is there a score in that Ole Miss Southern Miss game?
4-0. Currentently down in Oxford.
And who's leading?
Ole Miss.
The Rebels on top of the Golden Eagles. Very early in that game, rain delay, because I think it started at noon, so it's been a long rain delay, and back to playing they go. I meant to add one more good medal. USA men's national team beat Mexico in soccer last night in a dramatic game. In extras, Pulisic was the big star in the game, 3-2. The United States wins the CONCACAF national final over Mexico, and they were major underdogs in that game. I'm going to give 2 Russ. I'm going to give the first one to John Rahm.
Got to get
People
vaccinated.
could feel sorry for John Rahm, and I kind of do in a way, but if John Rahm had gotten vaccinated, John Rahm wouldn't be in this pickle. He'd be $1.67 million richer. We wouldn't have had that scene where he buckled over on 18, and I am certain he would have walked away with the memorial under his belt, and those FedEx points that went to Patrick Cantlay that make him number 1 now, those would have belonged to John Rahm if he had only taken a vaccine. And I'm going to give a rust to Roger Federer. Federer wins 3 matches at the French Open. The last one, a grueling 4-hour deal. And he was supposed to play the next day, and he said, I have to listen to my body, because he wants to win at Wimbledon. Wimbledon's more important than the French. If you're going to enter a tournament, aren't you committed to seeing that tournament through unless you're injured? He wasn't injured. He said, I was listening to my body. It told me to rest. It's resting so that he can be great at Wimbledon. He would not do the same thing at Wimbledon, I promise. He absolutely decided that the French Open wasn't important enough. Roger Federer, if you commit to something, see it all the way through. If you don't, you get a rust.
I'm with you there, Dave. I've only got one rust, and that's to the entire sport of boxing. Whatever that show was yesterday on the pay-per-view where people paid $50 to see Mayweather and Jake Paul or Logan Paul, one of the two. I can't keep up because it is just an absolute joke. There was no real boxing. It was never really an actual contest between any of the 8 rounds. And the fact that you have Chad Ochocinco to lead them in. Chad Ochocinco now thinks he's a boxer, and he gets knocked down a few times. It is absolutely a joke of a sport, and it's sad to see.
It was an exhibition. It was labeled as such. If you're a sucker that paid $50, I'm sorry for you. But when they don't have judges, why are you spending $50?
I don't get it.
That'd be my question. And those are your medals, the good ones and the rust. It's brought to you by Supercuts. Supercuts With all their 15 stores open now and needing employees, go to supercuts.com if you would like a good job to work for a good family. That is the Czech family, or if you want a good haircut, they'll find the location that is nearest to you. They still have the safe salon commitment in place. If you'd like to see what that's all about, go to supercuts.com. Bottom line is this: if you want a job or you want to look good, go to Supercuts. That's an hour in the books. When we come back, we'll chat with our good friend from CBSSportsline.com. That is David Cobb, and he comes your way in just a minute.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You heard you could save big when you bundle home and auto with Progressive, so you went online to check it out. But then you saw a link for a survey about which type of bread you are. And now you're on question 17, barely scratching the surface of your bread identity. You always thought of yourself as a brioche, but are you actually more of a pumpernickel? Ah, yes. They said it was easy to save money bundling with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Hi folks, Dominic Hoon, General Manager here at Sunrise on the Pike. I want to invite you to Sunrise 32nd Anniversary Sale. Are you unable to find the dream car due to the inventory issues? Don't look any further. Come to Sunrise. We have a great selection of new Buicks and GMCs, a $12 million used car inventory, and vehicles arriving daily. That's why Sunrise on the Pike is a place to go. Bad credit, bankruptcy, slow pay, that's okay. Here at Sunrise, we specialize in secondary financing, used cars below $10,000. If you have a job, you're approved at Sunrise, the home of the guaranteed credit approval. See us online at sunriseonthepike.com or in person at 1800 Covington Pike.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day, group play, and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
We We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in on a magnificent Monday afternoon. Who would have known? We thought it was going to rain all day. It is gorgeous. Out at TPC Southwind. We're out here because this is the annual AutoZone Liberty Bowl. I guess we call it the Golf Classic, Golf Showdown. It's really a golf fundraiser. That's what it is. It's a fundraiser to raise money for St. Jude. This is the way the AutoZone Liberty Bowl gives to its partner, St. Jude. It puts it in the name, the title sponsor of the, with AutoZone, of the bowl itself. But this is where they give money, and they usually try to raise about $250,000. There were, I want to say, 72 teams that are out here for the morning session and the afternoon session. And this golf committee that Steve Earhart put together with Chris Moore and Pat, wow. I mean, they do an amazing job. It really has been outstanding. And Ryan Silverfield's out on the golf course. He's going to join us in this hour. We think Penny Hardaway's already joined us. It's I said the big story of the day was the feeling of normalcy. Peyton Manning was in town last night. It was supposed to be a year ago, and he was kind enough, and I know he came on his own ticket to speak and everything else. What a generous soul he is, and, you know, he's big in the Children's Hospital. He and his wife, Ashley, have the Children's Hospital in Indiana, at least a portion of it named after him, and he did this for St. Jude this year. What a great deal that was. And that, again, was delayed, but it's back. This tournament didn't exist last year because of the pandemic, and it is back. So we're just having a good feeling of life returning, that is for sure, and it's always good. On Mondays, I know it's Mondays when I get to chat with David Cobb from CBSSportsline.com. There was another big story today. I almost made it my top story of the day, and that is Alabama extends Nick Saban's contract through 2028. He is 69 years old. 69 plus 7, if I do my math correctly, 76 years old. David Cobb, will Nick Saban be coaching at age 76 in Tuscaloosa?
I'm going to say no. I mean, that carries him into Bobby Bowden, Joe Paterno territory. I don't think he wants to go there. I mean, you know, those programs, when their coaches were still, you know, in their late 60s, they were still doing pretty well. But as they, you know, as Bobby Bowden and Joe Paterno really got up there, those programs started slipping a little bit. And I just don't see any way that Nick Saban can sustain it. And here's why. It's because, I mean, the staff is a revolving door. So he doesn't have, like, he's not like Mike Krzyzewski or Roy Williams, who have a long network of former players who are on the bench with them, who can carry the culture on, at least in theory. Nick Saban's a revolving door of assistant coaches, and so I don't see that staff being able to pick up the mantle and carry him into his late 70s. And heck, I mean, the guy he has other hobbies, right? Like, we know he likes to go on the lake and play golf and stuff like that. So, I mean, I just don't see it. But the contract extension totally makes sense. He can recruit, you know, until he's ready to be done because of that contract. So I get it. I just don't see him coaching until it's over.
See, David, I really don't get the reason for the extension. You bring up recruitment. Does he really need to calm the nerves of 10-year-olds right now? I mean, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at 10, 11-year-olds who would be having to be recruited for the 2028 class. Do we really need to worry about elementary, middle school kids and where they're going to end up that far down the line?
Or does he have to worry about money? Because I don't think so.
I think it's a lot of it's got to be symbolic, right? You know, the university, you know, symbolically giving him that contract extension through 2028 just to sort of, I don't know, show their appreciation for what he's accomplished, and, you know, to remind everybody that he's not going to try to make one last ditch effort at the NFL to reclaim the failed Dolphins project or anything. So I think that's part of it too. It's symbolism in some way, and he'll be able to recruit the next 3 or 4 classes without the contract ever coming up because of the extension today. So it's wild just because it puts him at 77 when it's over. But, a lot of, like I said, a lot of it's symbolic. He's the greatest college football coach of all time. I think we can probably say that accurately now. So
I agree. And I think that's spot on. I think the message that Alabama sends out with that is that Nick Saban has agreed he's not going anywhere. He will finish his career in Tuscaloosa. That has to be really what it says.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's not going anywhere, and neither is Alabama. Alabama's in good hands, and the machine rolls on. Georgia's got a shot at him this year, but the West, to me, is so down that even if Alabama does have to kind of rebuild a little bit with Bryce Young at quarterback and some new players at receiver after what they lost to that position with Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, I think the West is still Alabama's to lose by a wide margin this year. So, they're not going anywhere. Last year was ultimately proved that Nick Saban remains at the top of his game because some people didn't think he had another title run in him, and he quickly showed that he does, and that he's still the top dog in college football. And still, I think Dabo has a long way to go before that gap is really even close to being closed.
Yeah, he does have a long way to go. I mean, just in championships, it's going to take a few more to get into the same conversation. And one story that reemerged over the weekend with Johnny Manziel, then all the paying for signatures after he won his Heisman. We obviously knew about this story back in 2012, 2013. Why is it really emerging just with all the new NIL stuff going on around the country? I mean, when I reread all this stuff over the weekend, it kind of just puzzled me of why this is news again.
Yeah, I got no idea why it came up when it did, but that's got to be kind of part of why it's maybe newsworthy, right? He goes on a podcast and talks about it. And one, is Johnny Manziel, but then two, it does illustrate the type of money that some athletes will be able to make. I mean, we're talking about autographs. Autographing things has been around for forever. It's not even like we're talking about some super high-tech social media marketing platform, or some kind of NFT or whatever it is these guys are doing now to kind of make money on the crypto side and stuff. He signed autographs and was trying to at least not get caught by the NCAA while doing it. And was, you would assume at least trying to be somewhat covert in it. And he netted over $30,000. So I think I don't know exactly why we care still, but it does illustrate a point, about something that's newsworthy, which is that name, image, and likeness. And if you can make $30,000 selling autographs while trying not to get caught, just imagine what you can make when you're actually, have a sign out there or some marketing behind you that says, "Hey, we're open for business." It kind of goes to show that the cream of the crop, at least in college sports, is due to capitalize in a major way on this.
I did think it was interesting. I don't know where I read it. It might have been a part of that podcast where he was asked, because he doesn't care at all about signing those things, getting money as an amateur. But when it might have put his Heisman in jeopardy, he made it very clear. Wait. I didn't make those. I didn't sign anything until after I got my Heisman. So I thought that was interesting.
Good distinction.
Yeah.
The pride of Memphis, Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, there you go. You read a nice piece, I think it was today, on the heir apparent for Mike Krzyzewski at Duke. What's your takeaway from Mr. Shire?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because he's kind of the man at the right time because there have been other Duke associate head coaches who are older and perhaps even more seasoned with greater coaching pedigree than John Shire, who have moved on in recent years to take head coaching jobs. One that comes to mind is Jeff Capel. He's now the coach at Pittsburgh, and then also the Austin Peay coach who just took the Austin Peay job. He left a position as an associate head coach with Duke. So he's kind of just happened to be there at the right time, I think, to fill these shoes. And we're talking about a guy that's going to be one of the youngest coaches in all of Division I college basketball when he takes over this time next year. And assuming there are no more changes in the ACC, he will be a decade younger than Josh Pastner, who is currently the youngest head coach in the ACC, which isn't that crazy to think about? Like, we've known Josh Pastner for 15 years, and he's still the youngest coach in the ACC as of today. But Shire will have him beat by a decade, this time next year.
How old is Josh Pastner right now?
I think he's 43.
I'm trying to remember.
I guess he's 40. You got to be 43 if Shire's 33, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But with Shire getting the job at Duke, obviously, like you said, there were probably more qualified people. But for a school who hasn't had to hire a head basketball coach in 41 years, maybe they're looking at it as hiring the next long-term Coach K, and to not even put that on his shoulders, where he's got to be the head coach for 4+ decades. How long of a tenure at Duke would you say would be a success when it's all done for him?
Yeah, it's so hard to say, because what else is there for John Shire to move on to? I mean, dude just got his dream job at 33 years old. I mean, because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he has NBA aspirations. I guess money talks, and you never rule that out. But this isn't a guy who had a long, storied NBA playing career. He played in the G League. He played in the Summer League. I don't think he ever played a minute in the actual NBA. So, where is there for this guy to go? So if he can weather the storm for 15 years, which is genuinely a pretty long time, then I will say that means he's probably had some success. I mean, there's just no way to live up to the standard that Coach K set. And I'm working on something for next week where I'm going to look back at how coaches who are following a legend have fared. And I've got it narrowed down to 10 folks who succeeded a coach who was at their school for 20 years or more. And it's very much mixed results. I mean, we're talking about Jim Calhoun to Kevin Ollie, right? Like a national title in there, but then all the NCAA trouble.
Then disaster. So wait. Let's stop for there right there. How do you deem that? Is a national championship worth it? That one wasn't vacated, by the way. I don't believe that UConn won. So is
Hello?
David, it looks like we lost him. Is there any way that I can have you wait through the break, and then we will come back?
We have got you
there
back.
We go.
We have got
you
back.
Guys, you're there.
Sorry.
Technology, it's weird.
That's what happens. So my question for you was, are you doing this football and basketball, or just basketball?
Yeah, so I mean, the story is going to be about basketball coaches who are succeeding legends. I've got it narrowed down to folks who were, coaches who were at their school for 20 years or more. Most of them won a national title, and how did their successor fare? And that Kevin Ollie is the first one on the list because he's one of the most recent. And so, man, I don't know. I think if you've won a national title, I deem that a success. And I know that it all.
I'm with you, 100%. That's what I just said, Drew.
Yeah.
Drew was arguing with me. I think if you win a national title, I don't care, especially if it wasn't vacated.
I mean, it's year one.
That's
we know what happened
successful.
after that, though.
Right. So yeah,
national title.
But there are some other clear cut failures on the list too. I mean, like Dean Smith to Bill Guthridge. I mean, that just didn't really work out. And then John Wooden to a guy we're familiar with in Memphis, Gene Bartow. Bartow, I think, only held the job for 2 years. If I'm not mistaken. So it's a mixed bag, no doubt. And, John Shire's going to have it's just a brutally tough job. I mean, you just think about, we always talk in football, on the football side, about, the guy who follows Nick Saban. I mean, this is the basketball equivalent, and maybe to an even further degree just because of Coach K's longevity. So it's a lot. It's a lot on the guy. But I think he's actually going to be well positioned to succeed because you think about, like I was saying with Saban, there's no natural successor for Saban. If he starts to taper off, how well does his staff really know how to keep the program moving forward? Well, I mean, Jon Scheyer, if he wants to, is going to be able to keep the entire Duke coaching staff intact, aside from Coach K. And, he'll have plenty of former players with good pedigrees to choose from to fill the open assistant slot, probably a former teammate of his. So, I think it's going to set up to be a pretty smooth transition for them.
Was there any overtures made, say, to Johnny Dawkins at UCF or Tommy Amaker, considering they were sort of mentioned like 5 years ago? And I kind of wonder with Scheyer if he wasn't like, and they're never going to say it, but like he wasn't the third or fourth choice, and the other guys just didn't want to follow that legend.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Those were the two names, Johnny Dawkins and Tommy Amaker, that you kind of heard during this transition. And, I don't blame them at all if that was their headspace. But also consider the fact that, I mean, as great as Coach K is, his coaching tree is pretty long. There weren't, similar to North Carolina, there weren't just a ton of really successful coaches from that tree who were out there to pick from. I mean, Jeff Capel has really struggled at Pitt. Tommy Amaker's done a fantastic job at Harvard, but boy, that's quite a leap to make after his previous power conference experience at Michigan, didn't end too well. And Johnny Dawkins, had Duke on the road in the NCAA tournament a few years ago. But I mean, watching UCF play against Memphis these last couple of years, I've not been impressed. It's kind of a situation where the options from the tree, the more veteran guys, honestly, were not that impressive in my opinion. So. Jon Scheyer gets the nod. So a few years ago, nobody would have said Jon Scheyer. And you might have said Steve Wojciechowski, who was having some success at the time. He's another one who's flamed out. And then Chris Collins, Northwestern, another guy who played at Duke and coached at Duke. And they made their first NCAA tournament, but they've not been good since. So it's again, whereas if this had happened 4 or 5 years ago, I think they would have felt like they had a lot of really good candidates who were on the outside of the program. But since it happened now, the guys on his tree have kind of struggled, it feels like, as of late. And they end up turning within and going with Jon Scheyer.
Back to college football real quick. You wrote a story at CBSSports.com about the Pac-12 transfer impact. We also got more transfer news out of the Pac-12 as Colorado starting quarterback Sam Neuer has announced that he will enter the transfer portal. So you talked about the guys that will make an impact. How much does that hurt Colorado going forward, and especially kind of pretty late for the transfer game?
Yeah, it is. In fact, you won't be able to do that next year. You won't be able to transfer June the 7th in college football and be eligible the next season. If Sam Neuer makes a decision here pretty quickly, he should be eligible because the NCAA has said that because of the new rules and the timeline of everything, that for this year only, fall sport athletes can wait up until July I think it's the 1st or the 7th, to say they're going to transfer. So, he won't be able, a guy like that won't be able to do that, this time next year. So I think that's an important thing to point out. But I think it's probably, if I had to guess, I think it's probably an indication of the fact that he's not in a good position to win the job. And so a name some folks might be familiar with, J.T. Shrout, who transferred into Colorado from Tennessee after only playing a little bit there at Tennessee the last couple of years. I think that might mean that he's in position to win it. Neuer played some last year, it was pretty good, but they've got some other options out there. So that's my read. When a quarterback leaves a school, unless it's because of disciplinary reasons, I almost always interpret it as he's been told that he's probably not going to win the job.
I think that is spot on, as always. I do, and we appreciate you joining with us every week. You're really missing the boat here this day, though. You could be out at TPC Southwind with us right now.
I know. I know, and I heard you say that you've got Ryan Silverfield. Goodness,
Yeah.
I tried to make Mike Norvell the coach at Memphis again, but I heard you got Ryan Silverfield and Penny Hardaway coming on today, so I'm honored that you still had me.
Oh, we love
Come on,
having you,
David.
my friend.
We
You
love
know
you.
that. You're an institution on this show, buddy.
And I want to say, hey, congrats to Drew. I've heard big things are in for you, man. So big shout out to you. I've enjoyed. I don't know when you're leaving, but I've loved talking to you over the last couple of years.
Well, this will be the last time you'll talk to me while I'm
No.
employed at Sports 56. So
This is
I
it?
appreciate
This
it,
is
David.
Last week?
Last
Oh
week,
my God.
Wednesday, last day.
Wow.
Don't worry,
That's-
he'll be hitting you up to be on his new station.
Oh, yeah.
in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Yeah, get ready.
I know, well-
Clear 11-1 when college football season rolls around. 11-1.
Well, and I love Eric Musselman. He's like one of my favorite college basketball coaches, probably. So, if your listeners want somebody to come on and just rave about, Eric Musselman, just give me a call.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it as always.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Thanks.
You got it.
Thanks,
Take
David.
care. That is David Cobb, our friend with CBSSports.com. Our title sponsor for this hour of the program here at Southwind, it's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, and, of course, Genesis of Olive Branch. Both those wonderful businesses really in the same place. That's off Lamar, Highway 78, and Craft Road, first exit in Mississippi, and they're run by Chris True. But the guy he has put over the G cars, the Genesis luxury cars, the best bang for your dollar in all of the luxury market is a guy named Vinny Gerard. And Vinny's going to give you his own direct number, 662-890-6684. There are still plenty of G70s, G80s, G90s. When I was there last week, there were a couple of GV80s, and they're telling me there are going to be more coming, and there's going to be a new, smaller SUV called the GV70. I know there's sort of a shortage of cars all over the place, but they've got the G cars still going at Homer Skelton Hyundai, and you know how good these cars are. Safe technology, so durable. You'll love everything about them, including that warranty. 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, and every new car, Hyundai or Genesis, gets the 3 or 36,000-mile maintenance package because at Homer and Genesis, they just want to take care of you, and that is their philosophy. So please, go see them, and you'll understand as soon as you walk through the door why that's the right choice. They do business the right way. They've set the standard in the car business at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We'll pause for a bit here. When we come back, the big cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. That is Steve Earhart. He comes your way in just a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
Summer in Memphis is hot and humid. Match that with an inefficient air conditioner, and that equals less comfort inside your home and higher utility bills. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. If you're frustrated with your current HVAC system, then let us give you a free estimate to make you and your family more comfortable this summer. Right now, Choates and Carrier are offering 60 months no-interest financing on select Carrier HVAC systems. If you're not ready to purchase a new system yet and need Freon to get you through the summer, then go to our website for our half-off 1 pound of Freon coupon. If your system hasn't received a maintenance yet, Choates is also offering their $20.99 AC tune-up. So turn to the experts with Choates and call 347-8086 today to take advantage of these specials. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back here at TPC Southwind. So nice to have you with us today, halfway home on this Monday. It's a glorious day out here. If you'd have said we'd have all this sunshine literally 4 hours ago, I would have said you're out of your mind. Last 4 holes that we played in the morning session of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl golf tournament, it was raining. The last 2 holes were really raining hard. Everybody in the morning session was laughing, thinking, oh, the afternoon session is going to be dreadful. It's sun-kissed. It's gorgeous. And I know you've got a smile on your face, Steve, because this has been the last 20 hours or so really remarkable, with Peyton Manning and Jason D. Williams playing and having Archie in town and your Citizenship Award being given in the nicest of light. And what a program to all the teams that are out here and the way this is being put on at Southwind and all the money that you're raising for St. Jude. It's just a beautiful event.
Well, you're absolutely right, and what a great way to come back after having to postpone everything a year ago. We couldn't have the Distinguished Citizen Awards dinner. We couldn't have the golf tournament to benefit St. Jude, and here we were with one of the greatest celebrities and leaders and citizens ever, Peyton Manning, what he's done in his career. Everything he's touched, he wins with. He's a great leader. People perform above, whether it's teammates or it's the folks at the hospital, and it's named the Peyton Manning Children's Hospital in Indianapolis. I mean, he's funded he's the main guy there in the Payback Foundation and then the Pat Summitt Foundation, and he's phenomenal. He'll be on TV here in a couple of weeks on NBC with the new game show. It's kind of an academic quiz bowl that he and Cooper, his brother, are doing, and it's phenomenal what he's achieved. So, yes, thanks to you all that have played and promoted it, and this is one of the, I think in this area outside the WGC, this is the largest philanthropic tournament in the Mid-South. And thanks to all our great sponsors we'll raise a bunch of money. We won't know yet, but the auction last night was successful, and Peyton Manning was obviously a great draw. And then you're right, when Penny Hardaway finished his hole this morning, and his team was commenting, "Oh man, we're so happy we're here in the morning, and it'll be those afternoon guys. They're going to get screwed." And yet here it is, beautiful sunshiny day. So yeah, it's terrific. And so thanks to everyone who made this a wildly successful weekend.
Do you have a goal in mind when you do the auction and you have your dinner and then this golf tournament? And this is the way you really give back to St. Jude, other than the great gesture of having St. Jude in the name of the bowl game. But this is the financial contribution. What are your goals for this?
Well, you're right, and this was an odd year because we came out of basically a shutdown year.
Right.
But when we started this, and I think, David, you might have been there back 26 years ago. The very first one, we raised $3,500 or something, and now I think our record is somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000. This effort has put more than $3 million since we conceived it.
That's great.
That is great.
I'm hoping that we can break our all-time record, is be in the $300,000 range. But some great bidding last night, and it's work we do all through the season too. The college football playoff helps us as well, and certainly AutoZone, WCM, and all our sponsors that jumped in, the people that were bidding last night. So I'm knocking on wood, somewhere 250, 300,000.
I'm not going to say his name unless you say it's okay, but there was a guy who bid $18,000. Now, I thought this was the coolest auction item, and you had some great items like the San Diego, fly to San Diego, go on a yacht, spend the night in this resort. That was pretty cool. But the coolest thing was to go watch a space launch and be close to it and all the other perks that went with it. And a guy spent $18,000 for the right to do that.
Well, I don't think he would mind me telling, because he's a wonderful supporter of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He's a past president. He's a current board member, Mike Longo, who he was born and raised here in Memphis, Bishop Byrne High School, went to West Point in the Army, served his 10 years in the Army, I think 101st, Airborne, and then he taught at West Point, worked at AutoZone. He's he built City Gear into a great business here, merged City Gear with Hibbett's Sporting. He's now chairman and CEO of Hibbett's Gear. Their headquarters is in Birmingham, but he spends his splits time between here and Birmingham. And so, he jumped up to the plate there and said, I want to make a contribution. And I hope, I think he and his wife will be going down for the launch of Inspiration 4 in September down there at Cape Canaveral with the shuttle. And I think that's the same Inspiration 4 where the St. Jude, I think they gave St. Jude a spot there, and was it $1 million or something that they paid? I'm not quite sure. I better pull back here because I'm not sure the details of that, but I know St. Jude's involved with that space launch.
Right, and that's cool.
Yeah. Steve, obviously having Peyton and the whole Manning family in yesterday was obviously great, and around Twitter, one of the main things that you saw from the night was him talking about the Grizzlies and Ja, and how his son has a Ja jersey on his wall. Other than that, what was something that really stood out from Peyton's talking last night at the event for people that weren't able to attend?
Just his overall class, and I think he was helping educate everybody about what he's been doing since he retired. Everybody knows him, leading Tennessee and Hall of Fame career. In fact, next month he's being inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and here we are. And he said this was one of the greatest ceremonies. And I think, as he said, which I would really appreciate, he said he's been honored all over the country, but he said this was a great honor, especially for two reasons. One, because his dad Archie had been one of our honorees,
and they're the only father-son combo.
Yeah, and that Tony Dungy, his great coach in Indianapolis when they won the Super Bowl, was his coach there, and all the great leaders. And he does have connections with Memphis. Ashley, his wife, is from Memphis. They got married here in Memphis, and he has that interest in the Grizzlies. That's why he was talking about with his son that's got the Ja Morant jersey up in his room. In fact, the Grizzlies have a team here in the golf tournament this afternoon. That's the first thing they said this morning. Well, this is great. Ja Morant retweeted Peyton Manning talking about, having the jersey in his bedroom in Denver, Colorado.
I'll be honest, I was at that press conference. I asked the question. I said, do you follow the Grizzlies considering you're a minority owner? He goes, oh, yeah. He's talking about his son who had, I think it's 2 players, Ja, and I'm trying to remember.
The Milwaukee star.
Oh, Giannis, yeah.
Giannis.
Antetokounmpo. And he said, well, does he have any Peyton Manning or Eli Manning jerseys? Heck no. He wants the new guys. He doesn't want the old guys. And his self-deprecating humor has always, just been terrific.
Well, and maybe the funniest part of it for your listeners, those who watched him on Saturday Night Live several years ago, and he's got a great sense of humor, but he told the backstory of what happened. Those of you listeners that remember that they had this spoof with Peyton throwing football to a bunch of kids.
Spoof of United Way.
United Way about how he's playing football with these kids. And the producer, the director said, it was a Nerf ball, I said. So he said, I want you to drill these kids and hit them in the head because we're going to spoof it. You're going to knock the kids down. And he said, well, there was no way. But Peyton kept saying, I can't do that. I don't want them to look like I'm hurting these kids and everything. And they finally, the dad of one of the kids came over and said, I want you to knock my kid out. Drill him. But it was a Nerf ball. So he told the backstory because we watch it. Anybody that's got your, your phone out or something, Google that up. Yeah. It's Peyton Manning, and we watched it here a few minutes ago, and it really is funny where he's throwing this. It looks like a real football, and then they're knocking the kids out, and then they show him. They were spoofing Peyton, Mr. All-American. They show him getting ready to steal a car, and the jiggers, the cops are coming, and
I love the way he set it up because I don't mind taking it to the edge, but I don't want to go over. And he thought he was going over until that kid's father came up and said, go ahead, drill him.
But I think the takeaway was what an inspirational guy and family. I talked to Archie a little bit afterwards. Archie had won it 5 years ago, as Dave said, the first father-son combination. And what a family. I mean, Archie and Olivia, so proud. I mean, what they've done. Cooper, who's now going to be featured with Peyton and on the NBC show coming up in 2 weeks, and then Eli, and now you're coming up with a grandson that they didn't want to talk about, about Arch, which is the grandson. That's Cooper's son,
right?
Who is the number one. He's only going to become
I think he's going to be a sophomore.
He's going to be a sophomore this year.
I mean, and he's one of the most highly recruited. And Peyton said, "No, I'm not going to talk about him at all. We're letting him make his decisions. Me talking about him wouldn't be fair, but." Talking about what his dedication to philanthropic causes and using his leadership and he's, I think I heard this right. Maybe you guys talked about it. That he's been retired for 6 years, but his name and jersey and merchandise still is, I think, number 2 in the entire NFL, only behind Patrick Mahomes.
I'll be honest.
I wouldn't doubt it.
When Harold said he had been retired for 5 or 6 years, I thought it was 2 years. I can't believe how fast time goes. And what he's done still so many commercials. He can do whatever he wants to. He's doing that thing with his brother, that game show on NBC, but he could have been the Monday Night Football analyst if he had chosen to be.
Oh, sure.
He
could have been
whatever
AD
he wants to.
Anywhere, head coach. Last thing I want to say, because it's a tribute, there was a young lady from Anchorage, Alaska, and said, my I think it was her fiance, loves Peyton Manning. She paid $5,000 to St. Jude to get a table and have their picture taken with Peyton. Drove here from Anchorage, Alaska.
Drove?
My goodness.
How long did it take to drive?
I didn't ask them, but they said it was a long trip. But they came here because they had an opportunity to be with Peyton Manning, and when Peyton was so kind to him, and to see that kind of dedication and respect for a guy. I'm not sure I'd drive that far to see Dave. I'm not sure I'd drive to Germantown to see Dave, but that's only said in good humor.
I'm not sure you'd drive across the street to see me.
but that is just phenomenal, the kind of respect he has. And then one young kid, I think it was Chris Moore's grandson, his name is Peyton. He was named after Peyton Manning. So when he came in, a little guy, and he said, well, he was named after him, and Peyton said, Big Peyton said, here, you come right up here next to me. I mean, there's not many people in the world, I don't care whether it's politics or government or service, that would have people naming their kids after Peyton Manning.
He's special. There's no question about it. Like, two things before I let you go, and I'm almost out of time already. One is the USFL. We know Billy Donovan got you in here to make sure that ship, no pun intended, was going to run beautifully, and it did. But that league is long gone, and now it's coming back, and there seems to be a question about naming rights for all these teams and the league, and who is this guy doing it, and is there a Memphis team in the future?
Well, on Thursday morning when I was on Fox TV and they had this guy named Woods, who I've never heard of, announcing that he's going to bring back the USFL with all the names and teams and no details in it. Within hours, I got calls from Carl Peterson, who had been president of the Baltimore Stars, which
right.
He was went on to the NFL, be a Hall of Fame career, being president of the Kansas City Chiefs. Bob Caparell and Randy Fataha, president of the Breakers, Jerry Sklar in Birmingham, the guys at Tampa Bay, Chet Simmons, his son Jed Simmons, and said, what's going on? For 40 years, we've kept the rich legacy, the blood, sweat, and tears and fortunes that went into, I keep saying a great legacy, the respect for the USFL of what we did. Now, we ended up out, whether it was the trial, whether it was Donald Trump, all the reasons
right.
that we can write the books about that. But everybody respects what the league achieved. And, they've been, probably in the last 30 years, I've been offered many times from somebody, hey, we want to buy your rights, or can we use your name on one of these new leagues that's come along? We've had we're into the third rendition of the XFL. The American Alliance here was 2-3 years ago here in Memphis and flamed out.
Which didn't last but
major
half a year of that.
They call it major
wrote a lot of bad checks.
Major League Football and all this kind of stuff. And we've never said, people have asked, can we use your names? I've always said, no, we want to be assured that if somebody ever does try and use it, that it's done with class and with the clout, with the money, with the ability to keep that legacy strong. And so when we heard this guy, all of a sudden he says he has it. Now, I'm not trying to be legalistic or antagonistic, but we want to protect that legacy. So now we've had a continuing bank account with the USFL. We've had some licensing deals to selling, jerseys and merchandise now, but we've never tried to, have lawyers all over the country trying to enforce trade because we haven't been active. But so I've sent the message. I haven't talked to anybody at Fox or to this guy Woods, but said, look, if somebody's really going to do it right, then let's get all these people, the coaches, the great coach. You've got Neuheisel and Spurrier and all these guys that are still young and would like to coach. Jim Moore probably doesn't want to come back again. Pepper's gone, of course.
Yeah.
But the people that were instrumental in putting the league together, they should, as I told some reporters, if they want to do it right, they should embrace the past, not just say, well, we're going to be cute and say, okay, well, we're going to use all the marks, because like the guy in Birmingham said, if they try and come down here to Birmingham and use the Birmingham Stallions name, which has good standing down there, they can't do it and just announce it and say, okay, and then try and be cute about that. And if they want to really embrace it and work with us. So I'm hopeful that in the next few days or weeks, I'll be able to talk to Fox Network and tell them where we are. We're not trying to be, as I say, legalistic or throw lawyers at them or anything like that, but we do want to protect, and especially here in Memphis, the showboats. You talked about the showboats. They talk about Reggie White and all the great things that the team accomplished. It was run in a first-class way. Billy Donovan, you said, hey, run this like an NFL team, which we did. 17 of our players went on and played the very next year in the NFL, and several of them were all pro, with Sam Clancy and Reggie White. I get fired up even thinking about it. If Sam went to the Browns, of course, Reggie went on, and those two guys led the NFL in sacks, and we had them both on our defensive line. So I'm sorry to get fired
and Barney
up.
Bussey in the back, and there were so many good players.
All right, well,
don't get me started either.
Yeah, okay.
All right, good stuff. Let us know if anything happens.
He was the captain showboat back then.
That's what I've heard.
He brought me his uniform there. We had the showboat uniform, the captain of the showboats, Dave Velocia. That's why you still got to get back to, as George Lapidus called.
That's why he's boat.
He's boat Velocia.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
There you go. Long time ago. But one of the fondest memories I have in anything that I ever did.
That's exactly what we want to protect.
Yeah.
We don't want
I get it. I get it. Let us know if anything happens. We are late for a break. I'll let you know this portion of the show. Brought to you by the commissary not far from here. We got the Germantown commissary really close to here, and then I don't mind going a little bit. If I want to use the drive-thru, going to the Collierville commissary. We had a little barbecue out here today, kind of whet your appetite. I will tell you, if you want consistency, if you want a lot of choice, there is nothing better than the consistency and really the greatness of the commissary, whether it's Germantown or Collierville. I'm talking ribs or pulled shoulder or chicken or tamales or what they invented, by the way, as part of the Germantown Charity Horse Show. One of the workers of the Germantown commissary then came up with the concept of putting barbecue with sauce on nachos. I think it was sort of one of those necessity being the mother of invention. And this woman did it. And that is what brought nachos to the way it is today. Brilliance. It's just brilliance when you talk about Walker Taylor's Places. They are really good. And look, you finish the meal with banana pudding or icebox lemon pie. That happens to be Brett Norsworthy's favorite. I like the pudding. You can't lose. So much choice, so much consistency, always outstanding. The commissary, Germantown or Collierville. We take a break. We'll put a wrap on hour number 2. Hopefully at the top of the hour, the head football coach of the University of Memphis, Ryan Silverfield, will be joining us here at TPC Southwind on Sports Time on Sports 56.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. We put a wrap on hour number 2 here at TPC Southwind for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Golf Classic. You just heard Steve Arrett, $300,000, and it started 26 years ago. They raised like $3,500. That is a St. Jude story, right? It's everything with St. Jude is like miraculous, and I think this is just another chapter in that continuing story of miracles that we see when St. Jude attaches itself to it all. I'm starting to wonder, as we get set, and we're going to talk to Ryan Silverfield here in a little bit about what he's got coming this summer camp and then into the fall season. We've got high school football right around the corner. That thing's going to start because everything is, school's ending in June 17th for public schools. Those guys are going to be playing football literally in 2 months, right?
Yeah, starting at the end of middle of August.
Yeah, so they go to camp in July. How do you think the COVID delay will affect the public schools that did not play football? Will a program, for instance, that's been incredibly successful, like Whitehaven, will that team falter because, let's face it, the guys who are now the seniors, the captains, the leaders, they lost a whole year of football. That's a whole year of fundamental development.
They haven't played since they were sophomores.
That's correct.
In high school. And for a lot of these big-time programs, your seniors are going to be guys that are going to be actually getting playing time for the first time. I mean, when you talk about some of these 5A, 6A programs that we have around the Memphis area, you're looking at not getting legitimate playing time until you're an upperclassman, until you're a junior, and now you're having to get your senior leadership from guys that really haven't been proven. And I know
maybe didn't play at all.
Yeah, maybe haven't played at all. And I know for a lot of schools out there, new coaching staffs coming in last year that still haven't even coached a game. And I know Gabe had to deal with it during his time at Germantown last year, that sitting around waiting to figure out what Memphis or Shelby County schools were going to do was quite frustrating, not only just for the coaching staffs, but for the players and their families who wanted to get out onto the field. But it's going to be interesting to see, and probably for some of your upper tiered programs, probably won't take that big of a hit. But for some of the middle tier type of teams that might have been just on the rise and, going into the 2020 football season before it got shut down, we're thinking that they had the type of leadership and the type of talent to really make a push at a run to Cooksville for the Blue Cross Blue Shield State Championship. It's going to be a lot of mysteries.
Right. The MUSs, the Christian Brothers, the Lausannes, all those private schools that were able to play, even if it was a shortened season, they got competition, they got practices, they got a little postseason taste. But these schools, like Gabe's Germantown and like Whitehaven, which has been phenomenally successful, missing a whole year of that rhythm and development, whew. I don't know what it'll do. It'll be interesting to see. And, how do you evaluate those players? That's something that Ryan Silverfield is going to have to do, and we hope to chat with him momentarily. This final portion of hour number 2 is brought to you by the Spirit Shop. That is that wonderful little log cabin. Well, it looks like a log cabin right there at Poplar and St. Nick, 4646 Poplar Avenue, right down just west of Clark Tower. You'll drive by that and think, wow, that's a little place. What the heck is Wallow talking about when he keeps going on and on about this Spirit Shop? Walk in. You'll see a marvel of spatial engineering. I mean, that place is packed literally from floor to ceiling, and it is chock full of just wonderful spirits. I mean, across the board. You've got selection. You can go with rare bourbons or vodkas or even tequilas. That's a new thing that people love, and you can get way up there in price. Or you can get middle ground, or you can get bargains. And some of these bargains are really good. Eddie Connor knows the difference. He can tell you, in fact, some new wines that may be coming up, like Silver Oak or Cornerstone were years ago, and he's been in the business that long and watched them grow. He can say that's going to be the next one that is really reasonable right now, but watch how expensive it'll be 7 years from now. Go check it out. Go just talk to the Connors. The whole family loves educating about spirits. They got accessories, they got beer, they got Tiger Tail in there. They got it all. That's the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. 2 hours in the book, our final hour here at TPC Southwind, coming your way in just a minute.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
The summer of fun is here now at Mario's Pools. Hi, everybody. This is Dave Woloshin from Mario's Pools on Exeter Road. That beautiful pool, well, it just doesn't happen. So call Mario, and his team will be right there to guide you every step of the way if you want to do it yourself, or they'll do it for you. If you need a replacement pool liner, Mario has the best price against all the major competitors, and by the way, the best selection. Call Mario's Pools, easy, 552-3399. That's 552-3399, or just walk in, so easy, in Germantown on Exeter Road. The great thing about Mario is he always takes that extra step. He gets to know you and your pool. He'll do everything he can to make it perfect. Mario's has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. You can check out the reviews on Facebook. Don't be a slave to your pool. Call Mario Pools today, 552-3399.
AC trouble? Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60. Then this year, Air Doctors is the official HVAC contractor for St. Jude Dream House. Air Doctors installed the St. Jude Dream House new Train high-efficiency equipment. Get your service from the best. AirDoctorsOfMemphis.com. Call 901-598-HVAC.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises. France's biggest tennis tournament of the year, it's here, and FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking up new users with a $1,000 risk-free first bet. Just place your first bet on anything using promo code CASH,
and FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. I love being able to bet on tennis on the FanDuel app. Always great promos, safe and secure, easy to use, fast payouts. You'll get your money in as little as 24 hours. And look, we got to ride Rafa and Joker all the way to the victory on the clay. That's who I like. Take it or leave it. Plus, on FanDuel, you can bet on tennis in a variety of other ways, head-to-head matchups, prop bets, and much, much more. So get in on the action and download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Sign up using promo code CASH so they know we sent you. Again, that's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road at 5704 Goodman Road, online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Check out the referrals there and look at the beautiful cars, but get down to Goodman Road where they have every make and every model, unlimited inventory, and if it's not on the lot, they'll go find the car that you want. At DeSoto Auto Sales, they care about your time. When you walk in, within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. The ultimate car experience guarantee, because they know we live in a world today that time matters. It's that simple. At DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, online at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We welcome you back to TPC Southwind. It is one of the days we love to be out here. It really is, because it's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl St. Jude fundraiser. They're looking to get $300,000 for St. Jude from this event, and last night the Peyton Manning dinner, which was just outstanding, and they're going to get there. It is really nice. Now, when I finished playing golf, I walked into the clubhouse, and it was nasty outside. It was dark, and it was pouring rain, and everybody was thinking, man, we're glad we got our golf in, because that afternoon is going to be rough. And I run into the head football coach of the U of M, Ryan Silverfield. And as soon as I run into him, I don't know what happens, but all of a sudden, the sun starts shining. That's what's happened to the program, Coach, since you've been here. Great first season, great recruiting, and I guess transfer portaling, however we term that. It has really been an outstanding start for you, and now you're no longer like the newbie, the guy trying to feel his way. You got a sense of it all. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I appreciate you guys having me on. You're exactly right. A beautiful day out there on the golf course. Probably should be in the office working on some recruiting, but what a wonderful event. Great job by the AutoZone Liberty Bowl for this event and what they're doing, more importantly, for St. Jude. You're exactly right, to raise over $300,000. What a wonderful deal. And but I'm glad you pulled me off the golf course, because it keeps me from hurting myself or anybody else with some of the stray golf balls. Thankfully, I've been focusing more on the football job than the golf side job. But thrilled to be here with you guys today.
Well, that goes to show you, the worse you play, the harder you're working. So we know you're at least
that's my excuse.
It's a good one.
Doing the work. All right, spring camp. We had that. We had a spring game this year. Give me your thoughts on what you saw. And I know everybody's going to want to know the quarterback position. You said when that was over that it was still pretty wide open.
Yeah, look, it was just to be back to some normalcy and to have a spring football practice, and 15 of them was great. It was quite nice that way. But what I saw during the spring was a bunch of competition, and that's really why I wanted to see at every position. And you're right, everybody's asking about the quarterback position. And we'll see. We got 4 capable guys, and I like them all. They all bring different intangibles to the job, and I think they're all going to be on display, not only just these next few months, but as we go into training camp. And look, I don't think any head coach doesn't want to have an answer as they get closer to September, and we'll see where things shake out. But I'm proud of everybody. At every position we got battles, and it's a lot of fun. But this group is a group of hardworking men that have their eyes set on the first game and 1 week at a time. But I really like their approach so far.
Coach, one thing that I really liked seeing out at the spring game, and I'm guessing it's going to be something going forward, is you've run in a lot of different double tight end sets. Obviously Sean Dice coming back for his COVID year. We've got a guy, John Hassel, just got onto scholarship, redshirt senior. How many different types of I know you've got a lot of tight ends on the roster. How many different guys are you going to run through those double tight end sets?
Yeah, I think that's an advantage to us. There's not a whole lot of teams in college football that line up with an attached tight end, much less like us, line up in what we call 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. And I think it can be advantageous for us to line them up attached. And, Sean Dykes is such a weapon in so many different ways, right? I mean, some teams treat him like a wide receiver because he certainly runs like one, and obviously a huge asset to have him coming back. So we're going to take advantage of that in every way. You mentioned some of those other guys like John Hassel. We got some other young tight ends that we hope fit that bill. But anything that we feel like gives us a matchup advantage, whatever that looks like, whether the run game or the pass game, we're going to do it. And it's interesting because a lot of defensive coordinators treat play packages different when there's 2 tight ends on the field. So we're going to be smart about it. Look, if we have 3 great wide receivers that we feel like are absolute studs, then we'll be in more 11 personnel, 1 tight end, and 1 running back. If we feel like we got the running backs of old and we have 3 great running backs, well, guess what? We'll go out there with 3 running backs on the field and give people headaches that way. But that's a nice thing is we really like our personnel, whether it's at any of those positions.
When you self-scout, and I know you guys do, and you walked away from last year obviously happy with the way it worked out. UCF win we hadn't had in years. Bowl win we hadn't had in years. And you look at it and people tell you, here's what you got. What's the weakness that you feel like you have to shore up the most to be successful this year?
Yeah, look, let me start with our strengths. I mean, I think, like I've mentioned a lot, our defensive depth is the best since I've been at Memphis. So going into year 6 since I've been here, I'm really excited about our defensive depth. Really the thing that we want to see is those offensive guys play together, right? I mean, we know how dynamic Calvin Austin is. We know what Javon Ivory will be capable of, Sean Dykes. We know we have a stable full of running backs. But now let's see some people step up. And I think a lot of that is, if you pull it back and say how many of these guys have actually truly started games together, it's not a whole lot. And that's kind of one of those deals. You put on the championship game from 2 years ago, and it's a different roster. It's different faces, especially on offense. And I think people tend to forget that, oh, well, hey, great job. You guys put up the most points versus Penn State in 2 years. Well, yeah, that's a completely different team. And there's maybe 2 guys total that have been on the field. And, even that year, right, Calvin Austin was a walk-on. So you just kind of look at everything, where we're at, some fresh faces. But, that's one of the things that we're going to need to continue to work on. So glad we got spring ball so we could take advantage of that. But we still have some new faces that just showed up these last few weeks.
You bring up Calvin Austin being a walk-on, and one thing that has been very prevalent in the Memphis program of the last 6-7 years is walk-on guys becoming scholarship players and then ultimately superstars at this program. Is there another Calvin Austin, another Anthony Miller, another Alan Cross on this team?
You certainly hope so, because you just mentioned some of the best Memphis players in the program's history, right? Anthony Miller, Alan Cross, and even Coach Jerry Magnifico. I mean, you think about those guys that have had that success, have come in as walk-ons. I also means that we, as a coaching staff, need to continue to do a better job evaluating talent that we're putting on scholarship. Because if you have this many walk-ons that are stepping up and beating out guys that are on scholarships, I look at it the other way. What do we need to do as a coaching staff to better evaluate high school talent? I'm thrilled these walk-ons step up, but if we were really as smart as we think we were, they would have been scholarship guys from the day one. I always say the joke that all these Patriots front office people got all these jobs and got GM jobs, and all these head coaches got jobs because of Tom Brady. Well, if they were so smart, Tom Brady would have been starting a long time ago ahead of Drew Bledsoe. He would have been drafted ahead of the 6th round.
Right.
And so I look at it as things that we continue to improve on. But yes, so fortunate to have so many great walk-ons here, a storied history of it. And I'm in favor of those guys stepping up because a lot of times they got a chip on their shoulder. So, look, I'm all for it.
You mentioned Joey Magnifico, Coach Magnifico. Will he be a good coach? What makes him a good coach?
Yeah, well, due to NCAA rules, I really can't discuss him, but he's a fine young man. And really, I can't discuss his job, but we were so glad he's a player and that he's having success in his future endeavors.
I've done this for a long time. I never knew that a coach – seriously, I don't mean to get you in trouble. I've never heard that you, as a coach, could not talk about a guy who graduated from your program, who you coached, about his abilities to coach.
Yeah, so it's, unless because of anybody that's at the high school nature, we're not allowed to discuss a high school prospect unless he's signed
right.
in LI, and it's the same with high school coaches. We can't do any promotion of it because it may look, regardless of if they graduated from Memphis or not. It's just it's an interesting NCAA rule.
It is.
You guys know that we do things the right way, and I can't cross that line.
Okay, I know you do things the right way, believe me. This year, high school programs that didn't get to play, the public schools, and evaluating those players on there, that loss of a year, how big of a setback is that for those guys and their growth?
Yeah, you really feel bad for these Shelby County school kids that didn't get the opportunity to play. And part of it is we bought some of those kids into our program that where, you watched their junior film, and we evaluated, like a lot of these guys, off their junior film and offered them scholarships, and they signed with us and are actually in our program now. And we expect great things from them. But now all of a sudden you look back, and it's going to be 2 years, in essence, since these kids have played any type of football. That's a long ways away, or whatever you want to look at, 20 months. And then you feel bad because a lot of growth, just like for any 15 age kid going to age 16, there's a lot of maturation and growth, whether it be the weight room. And with Shelby County being shut down, these kids not being able to get in the weight room, you kind of see that. But look, we've got a great city to recruit from. We got great high school coaches that are going to do it the right way. But you do feel bad for these young men that couldn't progress the way they naturally would. But that's one of these beautiful things about having camps, getting these kids on campus and see who's got the potential to eventually be a Memphis Tiger.
You talk about recruitment. You had guys in this week and finally able to not be over Zoom, not be in front of a laptop, and have these guys check out the facilities and everything that comes along with being a Memphis Tiger. What was the one thing that you were so excited to show these recruits that said, basically, I've been telling you on the Zoom all year that this is as amazing as it is? What was the one thing that you were super excited to show those guys?
Yeah, I think, as you well know, I'm so prideful in everything about not only the city, the university, and our football program. So I think I was just giddy to be able to sit down face-to-face with these young men and get a feel, is this the right type of person that we want in our program? Sit down with the parents and explain to them my vision for them and their program and what we can do. And I think that's what excites me, is selling the vision. Obviously, being able to show off the indoor practice facility, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
We've been over just about a year now. We just redid our weight room, which is fantastic. We're constantly doing things to upgrade our locker room. And really the biggest thing is I also love showing off our current team, our players. And I think the biggest thing you can show a recruit is, here's what our locker room looks like. When I say that, the players in it. And our players are so prideful. They care about, they understand the way we want to do things. We talk about culture. It's a buzzword thrown around businesses and football programs throughout the country. But I think our players believe and understand, hey, this is the way we do things. And we're not, I don't have 117 angels, but they understand this is the way we're going to do things. This is how we do it. And for a recruit to see that, for a mom to be able to say, wow, this is the type of young man that's in this program, it should knock the socks off of them, and we can compete with anybody in the country as far as that.
You've also, I think, since you've gotten here, really strived to upgrade the schedule. Mike Norvell was kind enough to play you in a few years. You got Boise State down the road in a few years. Your philosophy about the way you want a schedule to play out.
Yeah, I think we're open to playing anybody. We really are, and I think it's good for the program. I think our players get excited about it. I want them to be just as excited about week 1 as they are, hopefully, week 14, right? But the reality of it is it's good for the fans, and sometimes there's more nationally known schools. All right, and now I make no bones about it. Florida State is a nationally recognized school. I give a lot of credit to Mike Norvell, who was here before me, and I appreciate everything he did for me and our program. But we're excited to go play FSU, right? It puts us on there. Not only that, they're going to pay us money to do so. But without the scheduling thought of it, putting a team like Boise State that's been recognized, especially in the quote-unquote G5 or the Power 6 type deal, it'll be a lot of fun. And, Laird Veach and I and Jeff Crane, we sit down, our administrators, and that's why I really do appreciate it. They let me look at the scheduling and say, hey, Coach, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? And I'd look down the road and say, okay, well, who can we schedule in 2027? Obviously, I want to bring as many wonderful teams to the Liberty Bowl in front of our crowd as we can. And guess what? It's not as easy to just pick up the phone and call teams and say, hey, will you guys come play us?
Right.
That's
That's a good
been
thing.
easier a little bit 10 years ago, but now I'm getting a lot of no callbacks when I said, oh, by the way, we'd like to play you. And then most of them say, well, maybe you can come here and we'll pay you. But I'd love to get teams in front of our atmosphere. Obviously, having Mississippi State's a huge regional draw for us to come here. I like that series versus Arkansas State that we have coming. That we got University of Arkansas on the docket. I think those are things that are important. And, we'll continue to evaluate. I'm all for playing teams that make regional sense. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense for us to go out and play a home-and-home with Hawaii. Our teams are really far away. But, something that makes sense.
How about UAB, Southern Miss, former conference foes that we had history with?
Yeah, we explored those options, right? Because we do have to play out-of-conference teams, right? And, look, the SEC is a great conference, but I'm also not a fool. I'm not going to line up 4 SEC out-of-conference games. So, sorry, guys. I enjoy my job too much to put myself out there like that. Now, do I think we can compete with anybody in the country? Absolutely. But the reality of it is, we'd like to schedule, an SEC or ACC team every single year and then figure out who else is out there. And the regional teams, whether it be a Southern Miss or UAB, they make sense. That's why Arkansas State made sense. I'd like to play the teams in our state. We've made calls to the teams that are in our state, the Division I programs, to see if they're open to playing. Again, we'll see where it may fall. Obviously, there's changes in administration, head coaches, so it's got to get a lot of approval for a lot of people.
Sure. Last thing, I know you got a team, you got to go out there and help. But the commissioner of the American had talked about, not this year, but maybe the next year, we heard about Boise for sure, conference expansion. Would you like to see the league grow, or do you like it just the way it is?
Yeah, look, we've got a great, tough conference as it is. I know the teams we got to play week in and week out. There's no bottom of the conference anymore. I mean, think about it. With the teams, we lost to SMU and Tulane. Cincinnati's made themselves into a national powerhouse. We know the battles that UCF will give us. Look, the conference is amazing right now, and I think it doesn't get enough credit. Would I like to have another team? Sure. I'm all about making this conference bigger and better if we can, if it makes sense for us on national exposure, right? If it does make sense, then let's not do it. Let's not just add a team that doesn't help us, doesn't help the revenue, it doesn't make sense. I kind of did enjoy the divisions. You think about it, being able to win a division title. I mean, we would be the last team to ever win a West Division title until they go back to it. So I think that makes a little bit more sense. Plus, it keeps you. Sometimes young men can say, "Okay, we have a chance to at least win this division," and then go.
One of the goals.
Absolutely. So, I'm all for it. But I let the powers that be decide that stuff. I got to focus on just winning games on our own end.
It is really good to sit here and talk with you face to face, not wearing a mask, doing an interview without that. What a pain that was. I guess we'll get to meet with you on Thursdays at the indoor and really go over our research stuff face to face again. I love that. Forget Zoom.
Yes, absolutely. Look, it's been a pleasure. It's nice to be back at this thing. I'm excited. The stadium's getting to 100% capacity. I know our fans are excited. The future of Tiger football, I truly believe it's heading the right direction. We've been fortunate to have some recent success in the past, but we're going to do this the right way, continue to build it with the right type of guys. I can't wait to see all of our fans in Liberty Bowl in early September.
Ryan, thank you. We appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Guys. Thanks for having me on.
Ryan Silversfield, head football coach of the University of Memphis. He's brought to you in part by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Of course, that's Genesis of Olive Branch as well. You know one thing for sure, you're going to get durability and safety out of both those cars. In fact, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new Hyundai, every new Genesis, and the Hyundais. Well, you know how safe they are. Voted the last 2 years as the safest car on the planet. And service. With that product comes service. That's what Chris True and his gang, they've been together for about 13 years. That's what they do. They take care of you. They give you a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package where basically they say, on us, no price, no charge, on us. We'll rotate your tires. We're going to change your oil. We'll make sure all the fluids are perfect. We want your car to be in peak running condition. That's what they do for you. This is what you'll find if you get on Lamar into Mississippi. Very first exit's Craft Road. Turn left. You'll be there. Homer Skelton Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch. Back in just a minute as we cruise through this Monday out at TPC Southwind for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl St. Jude Golf Classic. It's a fun time out here, and we're back in just a sec.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Cruising through, we're out at Southwind, and its portion is going to be brought to you by the good folks of Grind City Brewing and of Tiger Tail. They should have been the perfect ones to bring you Ryan Silverfield. Some very interesting, I thought, comments from Coach Silverfield. Defensive depth, never been deeper. That was a strength. Plenty of weapons. Who steps up? That was one of the questions that he had. And really, I guess if there was an area of weakness, he was basically telling us it's really experience. That you look at the guys just a couple of years ago that had played in that Cotton Bowl game against Penn State. Only a couple of guys that are still there. But plenty of guys that did get a little taste last year in an 8-3 year that won a bowl, beat UCF. I think more depth than we've ever seen in a lot of different places. I think that line's going to be improved. So there were a lot of good things. It would make me want to tip a little tiger tail in salute. Toast it and knock it on down. Hey, why not? It is a perfect malt liquor. In fact, it's the official craft beer of the University of Memphis. They are committed to all things Memphis. And when Grind City Brewing came up with this craft malt liquor, which is unlike any other malt liquor you've ever tasted, they said this has got to be Tiger Tail. This has got to belong to the U of M. This is a great combination. And honestly, it has worked that way. It used to be you could only get Grind City Brewing's Tiger Tail at the brewery in Uptown. Get it in the tap room. Then it got bigger. It got more popular. It went to places like the Spirit Shop that we talked about earlier. Now you can get it in Kroger. And you'll see why once you taste it with that bold, smooth flavor, that easy finish, 7.5% alcohol, so it's got a kick. Be careful. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing, taking care of beerness in Memphis. We will hear from Daryl Smith, who is the tournament director of the WGC Memphis. This is odd. He's going to call us here in a little bit, and Gabe will let us know when that is cool. But he's nowhere near the clubhouse, so he said, "I'm just going to call." We said, "Okay,
that's fine." Beautiful day out.
We look forward to chatting with him, and in particular about the condition of this golf course. Very wet right at the moment, but
looks beautiful.
It really is amazing what they can do by the time August comes. Let's double-check, though, the baseball scoreboard. College World Series. We know on our sister station, Ole Miss and Southern Miss in an elimination game. It was the last time we heard. It was the Rebels 4-0 early in the game. Then there was a long delay. Back playing. What's the update?
Well, the bats are out in Oxford right now as Ole Miss leads 12-7 in the top of the sixth. There for the elimination game in the Oxford Regional. A few finals that we've already had today. Mississippi State 6-5 over Campbell. We had
so they're in the Super Regional?
They are. They get into next weekend's play. South Alabama beat South Florida 4-0. Now they've had to play a doubleheader. This is now they are now in the elimination game. South Florida does lead South Alabama though 4-2 going into the bottom of the eighth. Some other scores from around college baseball. Only one other game currently going on. Oregon State leading Dallas Baptist 5-2. That is also in the bottom of the sixth. And then, of course, the big ones tonight, Nebraska at Arkansas in Fayetteville, LSU in Eugene against Oregon, and Stanford versus UC Irvine in the Stanford Regional. Those two games will be scheduled for first pitch around 9 o'clock.
Wow. So the Arkansas game, the number one overall seed, taken at home to the brink of elimination. That'll be an interesting game that I think Nebraska has really fared well. But I do think this is an Arkansas super team, so they should be able.
If they're starting pitch, I haven't seen who's exactly going to go out for Arkansas tonight, but as long as their starting pitching can get them to Kevin Kopps. Kevin Kopps, obviously the SEC Player of the Year, the Pitcher of the Year in college baseball, and definitely the nastiest dude I've seen on a college mound in years. If they can get to him, if they can, and this isn't really a true closer or a true setup guy. This is a guy, and Kopps is a guy that can go. He can go 2 innings if you need him. He can go 4. He can go 5. I mean, if you can just get him a few runs and get to him about the sixth inning, he's going to put it away. I mean, the man has the lowest ERA in college baseball, still sub 1.0 ERA, and just some of the nastiest stuff. So as long as the bats are able to get going, I would not be shocked, especially after last night's performance. Just bats just were not swinging very well. If it's a low game, but you get to Kopps and he dealing like he normally is, it could be a tight one, but Arkansas should be able to pull it out.
It'll be fun to watch, that is for sure. All right, so this is wild. Our friend Daryl Smith, who is the tournament director of the WGC Memphis, whose office is right downstairs, who normally would be sitting right up here with us, but is playing, and he is not close to the clubhouse, so we go somewhere on the grounds to chat with our friend Daryl. I am amazed that you are on the course in the sunshine after what we saw at around noon today.
Yeah, I didn't expect really to be out here on the golf course and taking in a great day of golf after the rain that came through earlier this morning and around lunchtime. But I'm going to take advantage of it and get out here and play some golf, and it's a perfect day for it here at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Golf Classic.
You reminded me earlier today that this would be the week that we'd be getting we'd have the old FedEx St. Jude Classic. Thank goodness that is not the case, because now you still got 2 more months to really, or 6 weeks to get this golf course perfect for the WGC Memphis.
Hey, we briefly lost Daryl. I'm going to get him on for you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens. Sometimes out on the golf course. I thought he had maybe slipped away, but that is the truth. Normally, the week before the U.S. Open, that was the old slot the FESJC would have had. And with the way the weather has been, and they would have done things a little differently, because now you got a different program for your, the way things are in terms of heat and moisture, humidity, things of that nature. But you got a lot more time to play with, that is for sure. So we are rejoined by Daryl. You reminded us this would have been FESJC week, and with the way the weather is now, that would have been tough.
Yeah, no, it would have been. We haven't had the best of luck with Mother Nature so far this year, and it would have been a little bit of a different golf course. If we were playing a tournament golf. Of course, we had done some things differently, in advance of it, but really summer hasn't started to show its face around Memphis. So the golf course has been different, and we're thankful that we're going to be playing later this summer in August.
You're right, Daryl. Really hasn't the teeth of summer hasn't been shown. We haven't had the really high humidity. We're normally about this time. We're normally averaging low 90s and very high humidity even this early into June. As far as long term, because like you said, you got a couple months until the 50 best players and a few others will be here in Memphis, Tennessee. Does that concern you going forward that it might be building up? We know it's going to come, just when is it coming?
Yeah, no, I think that, I learned a long time ago not to worry about what you can't control. And that's one thing that we can't control at all, so we'll be able to, to right the ship and put on a good show regardless of what the weather is. I mean, the golf course will be in fabulous shape. I mean, summer is going to come here in Memphis, and the golf course will turn into a really good, really well-conditioned golf course. We're going to do some work to it starting tomorrow and aerify every single blade of grass. And I think when it comes tournament week, we're expecting it to be hot, and I think that our local market and our supporters, that it's not unexpected that it's going to be summertime. It's going to be hot weather here at TPC Southwind, so we'll make the best of it, whatever happens.
Talk of the tour this week has been the John Rahm situation with him being found going through protocol and having positive symptoms of COVID and really and truly losing what would have been his, about 1.67 mil, because he had a 6-stroke lead, and if you look to see how Morikawa and Cantlay, who won this thing, finished yesterday, you got to assume that John Rahm would have been able to win the tournament. But you guys have a very successful policy that you have had in place. I think the tour official said 50 days, and you got to live by it. And it's kept everybody safe. I think the tour did the exact right thing in all of this.
Yeah, I do too. The situation was unfortunate. It doesn't matter if it's, who it is, that you would hate for them to, to be taken away of some great golf that they've already played that week and have a chance to win a tournament, especially a tournament as prestigious as the Memorial. there at Jack's place. But, the tour has been very thoughtful, been very consistent in its approach as we return to golf. And the protocols that we have put in place have kept us able to play the game on a consistent basis week in, week out since we returned last year in Fort Worth, Texas. And I think there's a reason for that. I think the reason for that is those protocols. And while the situation was extremely unfortunate, and I feel for John Rahm, and I think that his statement after the knowing that he had to withdraw, I think it was right on. I think that you'll see great things from John Rahm continue, and it'll make him a better golfer, make him stronger. But also, shows that that COVID can still impact a lot of things that we're doing, and as we get back to normal, and that we still have to have our guard up and have to be very cautious and make sure that we keep everybody as safe as possible.
Do you think that kind of for anybody that is on the tour that's on the fence of getting vaccinated, that this is going to kind of give them that nudge that they need? And by the time we do get to the World Golf Classic here, that we could have a 100% fully vaccinated field?
I do. I mean, Drew, I think that it'll I think it'll be interesting to see how guys react to the news of that happened last weekend. And I would expect that most guys will, maybe reevaluate, and if they weren't going to get a shot, maybe they will get a vaccine now. But it's definitely an individual decision, and it'll be an interesting story to monitor. I think the PGA Tour is doing a good job getting vaccines just distributed to our membership, and we got on-site vaccinations now for our players, and I think that as it becomes easier for them to get vaccines, that you'll see more of them take those vaccines and take advantage of the offering. So it'll be interesting to see just kind of what effect this has on the rest of the membership that might have been on the fence about getting a vaccine, and
no doubt.
How they plan moving forward.
That Darryl is right on the money. If there is a silver lining to this cloud, it is all these guys are going to go, he just lost $1.67 million. I don't want to be in that position. I'm going to get that vaccine, I would think. I got to ask you, I know you don't have the field in front of you, and I know you're in the middle of competition, but are there any guys that we have not seen in Memphis that at this moment, through FedEx points, are going or winning a tournament, are going to be first-timers at TPC Southwind?
The first guy that comes to mind when you ask that question, Dave, and I don't know off the top of my mind, but is Will Zalatoris. Will Zalatoris has been a young player that has started out on the Corn Ferry Tour. Of course, has played extremely well on that tour, then also took advantage of every opportunity has been given in major championships and other events that he's played on the PGA Tour. And due to his ranking currently, that Will would be eligible to play in this year's tournament, which is it's kind of bizarre that, he doesn't have full-time membership on the PGA Tour right now. He does play on the PGA Tour primarily. He's in a position where he can accept unlimited sponsors exemptions. But due to his world ranking, that he'll be eligible to play in a World Golf Championship. So that's the name that comes off right at the top of the mind. And, a guy who played so well at Augusta National and hung in there that last day. That'll be exciting to see a guy like Will come to Southwind.
And we got Phil back. That's like a bonus that no one saw coming.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. We all know how I feel and how Memphis feels about Phil Mickelson, and to get Phil, qualified and back in Memphis for the 9th straight year. I've said it every single year. It's amazing to think that we have been able to attract him for so long and become a fan favorite, and really to become a passionate ambassador of Memphis and St. Jude and TPC Southwind. So that's what he is, and that's how he feels about this place, and has played so well here over the last, in recent years. And we expect him to come back and play great golf again.
Yeah, Phil, as always, spoke very highly not only of TPC Southwind, but what the tournament means to St. Jude and the city of Memphis, and a guy that's starting to become a fan favorite here in Memphis for how highly he speaks of the tournament. Brooks Koepka. Is there one main thing that you think that y'all do so well that is why so many people speak so highly of TPC Southwind and this golf tournament?
There is something to it. Courses for horses. you know, and I think that Brooks Koepka enjoys this golf course, and he enjoys a golf course that he plays so well, and that is one thing that, you know, guys are going to be attracted to, is that they want to play golf courses that really suit them and suit their game. And Brooks Koepka is one of those guys, along with Dustin Johnson, that had great success. And it's also funny to look back now that we're World Golf Championship, and Brooks and Dustin, you know, are two guys that have been loyal to us at the FedEx St. Jude Classic, and then coming into World Golf Championship week every week, that they're going to be at the top of the leaderboard and a lot of people's minds to follow them here at Southwind, and long time, coming to Memphis, so we're excited about them.
I know the best thing, though, for you, for Jack Sammons, you don't have to worry about getting a field anymore. We know. Thank you, FedEx. We know we're going to have the top 50 guys in the world here, and they're going to stay for 4 days because it's no cut, and they're going to come because it's no cut, and they're going to get paid, and that is clearly the beauty of it all. Last thing for Daryl Smith, who is the tournament director of the WGC Memphis, and that is, do we have that excitement? I know we're all going to be back. Shelby County's allowed that to happen now, but are you seeing that in sales and in corporate hospitality tents?
Yeah, I mean, we're extremely optimistic. I mean, we still have 50 or so days before the tournament. But Dave, you're out here today and saw a lot of the hospitality build, and we're excited about that. And we think that our corporate partners are excited to get back out. There's a lot of pent up demand to kind of get back to normal. We're going to do everything in the safest way possible. You know, we said that from day one, that health and safety is our number one priority. But we're very, very optimistic about the tournament looking a lot like 2019. And our corporate partners have definitely responded, and they have that same desire. Of course, we always have more that we can sell, and looking forward to getting some people into the door here at the last minute. And ticket sales are continuing to increase as we get closer and closer to tournament week. So we're going to have a great event for the city of Memphis and for St. Jude. And, you know, like you said, without our great corporate support of FedEx, a lot of this would be possible. So we're very, very excited about this year's tournament.
Thank you, my friend. We really appreciate it. I know you've got a partner on your team that really wants you to get back to work. So you better go.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daryl.
That is Daryl Smith. Oh, wow. That is Daryl Smith, who is the WGC Memphis Tournament Director. We'll take our final timeout. When we come back, it'll be Taco Bell Crunch time.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
Hey, I heard that you just got a new car.
Yes, I sure did, and I could not believe how simple it was.
Really? Tell me what happened.
I bought my car at Cars Inc. They are family owned, and the choices of cars were the best I've ever seen. They even said they could price match with anyone and help me with whatever financing I needed.
Wow, it does sound like they know what they are doing.
Their family has been in the car business for over 30 years, and they're excited about being in Memphis.
Where are they?
5095 Cummington Way, and their phone number is 901-623-7180.
Progressive Motorcycle presents
Road Wisdom from the Motor.
Half man, half motorcycle.
You grab life with both hands, and you grab your bike with both hands.
Both hands.
Therefore, bike is life.
Figuratively speaking.
Progressive Motorcycle also presents Roadside Assistance. Progressive Motorcycle, for those who were born to ride. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a three-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Final portion of our show brought to you by Miramichi. That's that beautiful 330-acre plot of land that sits north of Memphis in Woodstock with 7,400 yards of championship golf, and it's all surrounded by absolute natural beauty. 330 acres. You know, Miramichi was listed as one of the best golf courses to play in Golf Week in 2020 by state, and there it was prominently mentioned, Miramichi. And when you tee up at Miramichi, not only do you get that beauty, but now they have really got this as a deal. For seniors, guys like me, you can play Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday with a golf cart and all the range balls that you can hit and a huge area to practice. You can get that for $30. Even on the weekends, it's $49 for everybody, and you still get the same deal. The cart, the range balls, the practice, whatever you want, and all that beauty. And then at the end of the day, you want to go see that redone patio that is just gorgeous. It's got now big screen TVs with a full-service bar. On some weekends, they'll have music when the play ends. It's a great place to sit back and end your day with the most gorgeous view over 9 and 18 and fountains and lakes and beautiful sky. I mean, it's gorgeous. It really is. You'll love it. If you're looking for a golf lesson, go see Matt Davies. He's the pro there, and he will provide lessons for basics and strategy and short game, the whole deal. 10 years of instruction with Matt Davies. You'll love everything you see about Miramichi. We must give you Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskell.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time. Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
All one. All two. All three. Hey.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day.
Well, learn today the University of Memphis has a new addition. They have a new sports information director for football. Should have asked Ryan Silverfield about him. His name is Scott Burns. He's been at the University of Indiana in the Big Ten for the last 5 years. So we welcome him to Memphis. We learned today from Ryan Silverfield. He loves his defensive depth. He loves all the weapons that he's got on offense, and he can't wait to see exactly how this inexperienced team, some with only a year, but all this depth all come together to play together, and hopefully for the next couple or even some cases 3 years, this should be a really, really good run. We also learned from Penny Hardaway today that he loves his depth, deepest team that he has had, and he says it's due to the core all coming back. Let's face it, the three best players, DeAndre Williams, Landers Nolly, Lester Quinones, they are all back with this great new group of folks and the return of Alex Lomax at the point with all that experience. We did learn today, though, that there's some spine issues, that DeAndre Williams has had a bad back, seeing a specialist at home. And he did say, when we asked him,
he did say no surgery.
He did say no surgery. And he did mention that he's got 2 scholarships left and that there might be a surprise, a reclassify surprise. And if it is a reclassify surprise, there is a very, very blue chippy kind of a guy who might end up in Memphis before it's all said and done.
That there is, Dave. I learned today that offensive tackle Juwan James, who filed a $15 million grievance against his former team, the Denver Broncos, has also now agreed to a contract with the Baltimore Ravens. He's agreed to a 2-year contract with the Ravens. James, obviously, if you remember earlier this year, suffered a season-ending Achilles injury in a workout away from the facilities. James had been guaranteed $10 million for the 2021 season, but because the injury took place at an off-site facility, it was designated as a non-football injury, meaning the Broncos were not obligated to pay his salary, and the team later released him. In his grievance, he's seeking for $10 million of salary in 2021 and an additional $5 million of salary in 2022. But he has also now re-signed a 2-year deal worth $9 million with the Ravens, so he's still getting money.
Right.
It might not be the 10, but 9's not too bad.
I could have done without the news that it appears we will not see James Harden Game 2, Bucks-Nets tonight on TNT. We really did not talk any NBA playoffs from this past weekend or what is on tap tonight. But that is a series that I've really been waiting and looking forward to. And the Nets were able to hold home court advantage without James Harden. But can they win without him for a whole series? And we know that groin, that is a tough prospect. You usually don't come back too quickly from that injury, and he's been plagued with that really all year long. Also, I'm going to go back to the other story that we've talked a little bit about. I don't understand the reason that Cameron Kinley, the kid from Lausanne, was denied by the Navy to delay his commission to play in the NFL. Just 2 years ago, Malcolm Perry, the quarterback at Navy, was allowed to do so. Just this year, there were 3 military academy players that were allowed to go. 1 from Army, 2 from Air Force. How in the world can you have one rule for one academy and not the same rules for the others? And if that is the case, what a disadvantage that is for Ken Niumatalolo, the Navy coach.
It really is a disadvantage, because as soon as they deny one guy, it's always, even if they don't deny another guy in the next 10 years, there's always going to be that thought in the back of recruits' heads. Well, they did it to a guy like Cameron, who was a team captain, president of the class, did everything right. Can I take the chance of that happening to me? I could have done without more unruly fans, and this time coming out of the world of soccer. You talked about the United States, their win in Denver against Mexico, but unfortunately the win was kind of marred by unruly fans' behavior that include objects throwing onto the field and a brief pause in the game because of fans using an anti-gay chant. Now, from what I've been able to read and gather, it seems that this mostly comes from the Mexican team supporters, but we're just now getting back to normal, and we've already had a dozen fan problems Let's act respectful. Let's be good people.
It's crazy. Watching tonight, I'm keeping an eye on those NBA playoffs, the Bucks-Nets that gets underway in about a half hour. The Nuggets and the Suns, that's going to be an outstanding series. That will start at 9 o'clock tonight. We got the Islanders and the Bruins. We've got the Jets and the Canadians. The Canadians, I think, can wrap that thing up
They
tonight.
can.
So we will keep our eye on all of that. We thank, for sure, Ted Butler, David Cobb, Penny Hardaway, Daryl Smith, Steve Earhart, and Ryan Silverfield for all of their contribution to the show today. Tomorrow it will be a lot of fun. Brent Beard, Chuck Melkent, Ron Tillery, Bo Marchant, maybe some other surprises as well. We thank all the people at Southwind for helping us out today, and to Greg and Eli for setting this thing up, and Drew, to you. And again, we should remind everybody, stats will be off until Friday. That'll do it for us. See you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.